Hello and welcome back to this episode of a Bazaar podcast. Heard you guys missed us, but here we are yet again, and as per usual, we have a great guest with us. Today we're joined by Leodriango. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about who you are and maybe how you got into the Bazaar?
Hello, I'm Leodriango. Primarily stream on Twitch, The Bazaar. How I got into it? I heard it from. Let me let me think. What's his name? Raren. It's Raren. It's Raren. I've played Hearthstone a bit. Then YouTube content flows in. You watch some videos. Know about Reynad. Heard he was making a game, but it disappeared off the face of the earth at some point, and then Raren got insight into it, right? And yeah, from his videos, I was like, oh, this looks interesting, looks pretty fun. And eventually, once it got out of beta, was not part of the beta uh, release. Like once it got free to play, uh, I took part, and yeah. Also, funnily enough, my first contact. This is like completely not related to what the question was, but like I opened up a Bazaar stream and I met Metal Phoenix here, coaching someone on a stream as well. So it was pretty an interesting experience, and I was like, oh, the game does feel like there's a lot of in-depth mechanic and a variety of things you can always be doing. So it got me hooked for sure.
There we go, fascinating. That's quite the deep cut. Not a lot of people
Wait,
who.
where can they find your stream? You didn't plug
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stream.
yeah, plug
Oh my
it.
god, it's Twitch Leo Driango.
Holy.
And of
uh,
course, the name is on the screen for any audio watch or video watchers, audio listeners. But as per usual, I'll put everything in the description on all the platforms. It'll be the usual YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, RSS feed for your podcast listening app of choice. If you're a returning listener, you know the drill by now. If you're not, happy to have you here. Would you say you have any particular things that you're somewhat known for within the Bazaar community, Leo?
um, I'm primarily Vanessa. Well, Vanessa player. Yeah, mostly. Currently, am dabbling in jewels. Every end of season now, I think I've made it a tradition somehow to play dually. Prior to the season from the last one, not the last season, but the last season, I got into contact with the Asian side, like the Chinese meta in a sense, and heard about a Primal Core Infinite, and I've heard that most dualies in the West consider it to be an unclickable core.
Mm.
Meanwhile, over there, they're forcing that thing because Saddle, like Dinosaur, is a vehicle. Dino Saddle, like there's a because uh Dinosaur can charge your core, and then your core can charge your dinosaur, and then it basically looped. They have an infinite that they've made, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention it or even like try to create something of those that line in the West. So for the most part, yeah, I'm a Vanessa player. Visit Dooley, uh, dabbling in jewels, kind of connecting the dots between like the Asian meta, like being able to keep in contact with a bunch of Asian players. We've yeah made sure to share some tech basically.
Yeah, it's been a very cool development how sort of distinct regional metas have started developing as of late. But speaking of, you mentioned that you've been playing Jewels. I think, as most people would probably expect based on the timing of this episode, we're going to be talking a lot of Jewels. So why don't you kind of lead us off into it. What have been your impressions so far of the Bazaar's latest hero?
I think it's very hard to judge new characters in a sense, as well as like the fact that we don't fight opponents of equal caliber in play as well. So it just feels like, a character can be very oppressive. I mean, understandable things do stand out, like numbers wise, right? So it's like some things just get really ridiculous really fast. Um, but yeah, I mean, the early game, the mid, and the late all feel like when you're playing each line as Jules, there is a lot of support for each line, and it never
Mm-hmm.
feels like you're being left stranded. I feel like even if you go for like the full turtle stuff on Jules, there's support for it. While in Vanessa, like there is some form of shielding like around, but it's never like fully there to be realized. Uh,
Mm.
and yeah,
It's
like
like
burn
her.
aspect as well can go kind of crazy. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's almost like her archetypes are very densely woven together. Everything is like
Yes.
almost adjacent to everything else.
Mhm.
Yeah, she has a lot of. She almost has more connecting. I mean, she almost has more connecting pieces than she has like carries in,
Mm.
especially in the early parts of the game. Right? She has a lot of. She like you. It's like everything for to make my to haste my rice or whatever. Like you're pouring your whole board usually into like one form of output, and the rest of your board is like all in support of that form of output. So
Mm,
that's a very like um and I guess the opposite, like the one exception is like the weapons line, right? Which is like kind of like the inverse of that, where like it's just a super wide weapons board. Although even in that sense, like you are like pouring everything into knife set as a charge, so it's like even though like you get the scaling back on the items, you still it's like everything's in support of knife set. So I think it's like there is this sense of like, yeah, she has insane supporting cards, and then she's in search of the like thing that's going to pay her off for like using all these items. Like, she's super good at using a ton of items. She's super good at making a lot of scaling defenses, right? Like, and those are things that like pay you, like are cool, but or like they're good in a certain sense, but they don't win you the fight by themselves. So it's all about like how do you convert. And so that's a really interesting, it's a different it's different in that it's like compared to Stell, for example. Stell is like really good at making triggers, but not necessarily so good at making like item uses with all of her lines. But Jules is really good at making item uses, and that's fun. It's very dually like, um, which I enjoy. It's been a while since I played dually.
I do
Yeah.
think it feels like Jules is all her items tie up very well. They all serve a purpose in the fight that is like of great value. Um, as you said, like rice, apron, or like even the small like egg item. The fact that it provides both like shield and regen, it's a it's a it's a food item, so there's like that aspect as well. Like you put it next to skillet, like the board kind of all holds each other together and gels very well.
Yeah,
And
so
like
many of your cards care about so many aspects of your other cards. Like they all they like they care about using foods and care about gaining regen and care about gaining like all like everything
Mhm.
just cares a lot and cares about using tools and cares about using adjacents, and it's like everything just has so much like there's lots of little payoffs for doing all of her things scattered across all of your cards. So it's they all like so they mesh together in a dense way. It is cool.
I think maybe my favorite thing, and it'll be interesting to hear, because I can imagine this is something that's very subjective, but probably also very tied to how much you end up liking Jules as a character. But I really love the hot and cold spots, and especially the way that they're almost never gonna be exactly where you want them to. So if there is like a theoretical optimal board, most of the time you can't make exactly that board, and in reality your optimal board has like thousands of variations depending on which of the two options you picked at 9 and where all three of them landed, which I think creates some really engaging positioning puzzles in a way where I obviously new character also affects this quite a lot, but so far it's just really not been feeling like I ever have a run where I just turn my brain off and go through the same loops as I have in a previous run, because it's never gonna be quite the same even if I were to find the same items.
Yeah, I do like how how like certain lines are opened up, like especially the card Feast is so much better if you actually have the contiguous hot and cold spots and you don't
Mm.
have to use pepper. Because like it's essentially you get a full extra board slot for like an actual strong like fast multicaster or charging like Bantu leaves or whatever. So it's like I do like the idea of like there's this aspect of pattern recognition where like, oh, I have like two chilled spots, one each on opposite sides of the board. That's like a really good setup maybe for like a blender plus freezer. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
whereas like if you had like two chilled spots right next to each other in the center of the board, that's not a good setup for blender, for
Yeah.
example. So like
So I
that part is really cool to me.
I played a lot of Jules, like maybe too much, and I agree. I really like that the stoves are locked in, like you can't move them around. My observation has been that overall, I would say that the heated spots are slightly more valuable than the chilled. One part of that is that there is this item called Ice One or something like that, which makes adjacent slots chilled, which is very powerful. Like it that item makes it very easy to, even if you have committed to like two heated slots, if you then brick on the heated payoffs, you have a very easy way of quickly generating chilled slots, as well as her large payoffs for chilled are also like adjacent items are now chilled, etc. So my general game plan has been that I always play for heated, but it's very easy to then like convert to chilled if I have to. I don't know if you guys have a different
I mean
experiences, but
the downside of
go
Swan
on.
is that you can't use it with Blender, right?
Mm.
Sure, sure.
Like that like yes, Swan, obviously like I agree with you that like it exists the possibility to do that. But also I think if I knew I was going to be freeze already by that point in the game, then I think I would rather have the chilled just because I feel
Yeah, if
that.
you, okay, I should rephrase. If you already have a freeze build, then of course you pick chilled. But if you are like in that pivot position, I just find that not only like the heated builds really need that extra heated slot, like a lot of them, like especially like Grill, for example, loves that extra heated spot. And then just in general, there are quite a few really powerful heated based strats, to the point where if you don't click the extra heated stove, you're kind of locking yourself out of really powerful late game options. So I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah,
heated is
no, I mean, I agree.
slightly
Heated is
more
probably
valuable.
correct the majority of the time, right? I think the majority of the time you pick heated on your level 9, right? I think
I
that's
Yeah, it's
will
just my
say
observation.
I think I have a different take there.
How many
Where
chilled cap as
my
well?
experience has been that Shield feels incredibly versatile due to the fact that I think the strongest position independent single slot heat or chilled payoffs are all of the chilled variety. Stuff like
Yes.
strawberries and slushy that can add very powerful disruption to kind of almost any type of build. So a lot of the time, if I'm sitting on something like a gingerbread house or I have like bubblegum floor, a lot of the time what's going through my head isn't like, how can I improve my honey or how can I add more speed necessarily? Because I feel like Jules is oftentimes very good at solving speed. You can just put rocket boots on a butter or something to that effect. But without chilled slots, it can be much more difficult to solve disruption. And she has so many good small items, and also, of course, the chilled wine, where I always feel like if I don't want to have to commit multiple slots to fitting in the swan as well, I just want to run a small 2 or 3 slot disruption package. Picking that extra free slot can be a really good way to transition kind of a mid game build into having more late game staying power than it normally would.
Sure, I agree. If you have, so in your examples, you already have like you mentioned like a gingerbread house or something to that degree. Like if you already have like you have something that can go the distance, right?
Yeah.
Then I think it's more contextual. But I'm just saying, like, if you are in this weird scenario where you don't really have fully committed yet, and you don't have a large payoff yet, essentially.
I would
When I
just say,
pick shield, I
like,
just find that I like every time I just end up, oh, if only I had like one more heated here. Like it's so often that I just stumble upon those like large, like, oh, there's also the what's it called, the oven, I think, that gives you like more, like it gives you um
Yeah, I played Oven.
yeah,
Oven is really nice.
it's like a
Oven, I
robotic
mean,
like
it's like Shipwreck basically. It's really
yeah,
fun.
there is no chilled shipwreck. So just the fact that you also like it's just more so that the heated payoffs right now are so ridiculously strong that when I just like if I hit that item, I just know, okay, I'm going the distance with this item. And I don't know, I'm gonna have to play more, but right now I'm more in camp heated overall. But I think it's pretty like it's close, it's contextual, but I'm just saying like
yeah, no, I
that's
definitely
my
think
stance.
I
It's
would
so informed
rate.
on what you have, right? Like it's
For
just
Yeah,
sure, for
every
yeah.
sure.
time.
I
Yeah.
would say that like chilled to me is the more generic one because it brings utility, but I
Yeah.
completely agree that it's an incredibly tight race between them that's almost like, yeah, in an absolute vacuum, I bet I'd pick like the frozen one maybe like 55% of the time, but it's so contextual that like almost every single game by level 9 you should have something that influences your decision one way or another, and there are such good items on like both sides of the field. They really nailed that part. But
Yeah, some of
Leo,
it comes
it
down to
sounded
like
like you
preference.
had something to chime in with as well.
Well, there's two things. I I don't like Walter mentioned the aspect of like feast, right? The aspect of having both freeze and chilled being
Hmm.
exactly adjacent to each other. I feel like I'm in disagreement in like sure it could be random, but I do feel like we space it out so it's not exactly adjacent to another like one another. I don't know. There's there's been a
Hmm.
fight. I do
They could add some
recall.
kind of like secondary rule or something, I'm sure, if they wanted to, but what do you mean
Yeah,
exactly? Like you mean if so
because
you don't get your like very last one in the corner when you already have one in the corner like that?
yeah, it's something of that degree or like because it does it's like a point of friction that I feel like isn't really necessary. Like, oh, very few items in the early to mid game really use like like both of them being right next to each other. Like one of them is Durian, right? Durian can then be have the advantage of being able to deal damage and also slow. But for the majority of like a lot of builds, the fact that those two are next to each other can and probably will cause a lot of problems. And it also feels like if you are against an exact mirror match of the same like build, like if you're both playing the same build and it was all reliant on the fact that the heated spots and the chilled spots were in disadvantaged position, it feels out of your control in that sense. And
Sure.
then
Okay.
you
Yes,
should,
that's
I don't
true,
know.
but that's no. Yes, that's true, but that's like isolating one form of RNG and saying it's somehow more impactful than all the other forms of RNG. It's like you can have the same build as your opponent and they can crit and you don't crit and then you lose because of that. Like there's no like there's nothing special about the heated cold RNG that makes it so that like you're extra screwed more often or something. Like I just think that like it's annoying because it's like it feels like you feel it as the restriction.
Yeah, it like
Like
feels very different,
yes,
even if
yeah,
it
yeah. You
isn't.
feel the restriction in a way that you don't feel like, oh well, my opponent crit and I didn't crit. It's like there's nothing I could do. But at the same, it's like there's nothing you could have done about the spot either. So you just like you just like make the best out of it in the same way that you made the best out of your crit RNG on your run.
I
Like
wouldn't hate,
there's nothing extra to be thought about.
like, just from a like feels good perspective of just letting people feel like they have a little bit more agency, even though it might not be strictly necessary from a balance perspective. I wouldn't mind having something relatively rare that maybe lets you like re-roll one of your slots or something, just to feel like, because
Sure,
obviously,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I
I'm
think,
fine with that too.
yeah,
Honestly, if
yeah.
they want to do that, I'm not against that either. As
Mhm.
long as it's late as long as it comes late enough in the game.
Yeah,
What I
right.
think
Because
that
like
what's really
the,
good about the slots to me is more about this early part of the game,
yeah,
where I
for
think she would
sure.
play the same boards every single
Mm-hmm,
game
mm-hmm.
if she didn't have the
But
slots.
it's
So
like I think the permanence of it, the fact that you don't know if you're gonna lose on a crit later, and it's not even that obvious if the crit won you or lost you the fight. That gives a lot of like mental leeway to being like,
yeah, it
oh
gives a lot of
damn,
cope. It's a lot of
a lot of
cope.
cope, yeah. But when you just see the three ovens or the like the three things directly in a row or something, even if there might be a really clever board to work around it, I could see how a lot of more average players who might not have like 500 games into Duels might feel a little bit hopeless just
Yeah,
looking at it and being like, oh, I got screwed. Now I have to
it's
sit
the
and
same
do
kind of
this
feeling as
for
missing
7
your
more
enchant
days.
or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like missing your enchant on Lemonade Stand,
Right.
or like
That's, yeah,
it's
perfect
like because it's like it
analogy.
feels like or like missing like your diamond on your diamond skill or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
you know you're only gonna get one of, so it feels extra
Mm-hmm,
bad
mm-hmm.
to lose it. So I do get
Yeah,
that.
our suggestion was that she could have, so if you remember when Mac got Catalyst as a level up reward and everyone was super happy, like the Macs really
Yeah.
wanted that. If Jules could have like some level ups where you, instead of grabbing an item, you get to shuffle your, like you have to sacrifice a level up to shuffle one of your, like that would be fine, I think. Like, that wouldn't be
Yeah.
like you, it would be like you actually lose value, like you have to pay a price basically indirectly, and that just makes it more fun. So I'm not opposed to that.
I
I just don't want it to be forcible. Like I want it
would
to be something that you.
assume like it probably a lot of technical limitations when it comes to the
Yes,
heated
they have
cooled
they have
slot
soft confirmed that
specifically.
it's a tech issue as well. Like they don't have that
Yeah,
tech
yeah, yeah.
right now, so we can maybe expect in the future. I don't think it's like that they're inherently against it. They're just against
Yeah, yeah.
having it be like if it comes in that form, they want it to be like you randomize them. They don't want it to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
okay, I can pick and choose, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it still have some variance in it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, this is just. I agree with Leo as well. It can feel really bad when you get them on the like compared to chess, like when your knight ends up on like the far side of the board, that's really
Yeah,
not fun.
yeah.
And that feels the same way when you get like your chill spot on the far left. It's just like, oh, well, this gonna be a pain in the ass like on day 9. Even though like on day like in the early game, I don't think it matters as much where your spots are, but especially in the late game when you start doing combos, it really hurts if they are next to each other or like on the far left and far right. Like it just makes so many cool combos impossible, is what I would phrase it as. Like every cool combo you discover is like, oh, it doesn't work here, or it nearly works but it doesn't quite work. So I agree. There is some feels bad with the current system.
What are the worst spots do you guys think for like
Pretty sure
as
the
in
worst thing that can
positioning,
happen.
right?
I'm pretty sure the worst thing that can happen is you get you're chilled on the farthest right or left possible, and then you get your second chilled on that same side on the farthest left or right possible.
For heated, it's definitely far left heated because Grill says the item. So Grill says like the item to the left of this gets heated anyway. So that if you get heated on the far left, you can often end up in a situation where the grill gets extremely awkward to use. Like that happened to me a couple times. So just because grill exists and grill is like only on the left, you generally want your heated stuff to be like if I had to choose, I want my right like I want my heated stuff to be on the right quadrant of the board just because of grill. But grill aside, I don't have like a big preference there. And then I agree with Walter. Like you really don't want your chilled spots to be as super like on the like in general you just like want your stuff to be sort of in the middle overall. Like I think
Yeah, you don't want
close to the
you
middle
don't
is
want
like the sweet
chilled up
spot.
against the wall because it screws with Blender and
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes sense. Like just like if you just think about the board, the closer things are, like with items too. Like the closer items are to the middle, the more you can interact with them, and the more you can put stuff next. Like it just makes logical sense that if they are on the far left or far right, it's way harder to build around that position, right? Like it just makes sense.
I can
Yeah, and then
definitely.
part of the skill of the character is like for items like pepper grinder and butter that have these like adjacency considerations. It's like when they're in the shop, you actually have to think about where your slot. Like you don't just buy items because they're good. You buy items because they fit on your board, and that is like
Yes.
For sure.
the Jules thing that she forces you to do.
You'll think
That
it's the best thing or the worst thing, much like
yeah,
inventory
exactly,
management on
exactly.
pairs.
So if I can just so I reached rank 1 and I play Jules about 25% of my games and the Manasa mainly. But so just if any beginners are listening, I have like a few Jules tips that I quickly want to run off. So I think Jules has great survivability. Like she has a lot of innate sustain. So like in a way it's similar to Mac. I agree with Leo like that there is like with the regen and stuff, she for instance like PvP fights or sorry PvE fights like monster fights, you are very tanky, which means that you can fight harder monsters on average compared to like say a Vanessa or something where it's a bit trickier sometimes. And that also translates to fights. Like just in a like generically, you are like a tough hero in the early game at least. And that means that I think you can get away with being a bit more picky with your early game items on Jules. Like if you have like a just like a region item here or a shield item there, that is like enough sustain to make sure that so long as you have some way to kill the opponent, you are like fine on the defense front. And that gives you a lot of freedom to, for instance, because her weakness, in my opinion, is that her economy can be really tough. Like there are tough
Yes.
margins in the early game because you have quest items, you have items that care about buying and selling, and so you can quickly run out of money. And that's also why you have like it's like a double like you know what I mean. Like you can be very picky about items, but you also have to be very picky about items because you don't have infinite cash. So my beginner tip is if you are starting out with Jules, you don't have to buy every item you see. It's totally
Yeah.
fine to go to a shop and only buy like one item or reroll. And if you don't see anything attractive, you just leave. I think the biggest pitfall an early one like Jules player can do is to just buy everything you see on day one, and then you never have money ever again. Like
Yeah.
you're just poor forever now. The other tip I would say is try and stick to like one theme. So for instance, there is an item called basket, and Jules have a bunch of items like basket. Um, it's called basket, right? Like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
guys
It's
can just
basket.
confirm. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she has like these. I would call them carry items where
Mm-hmm.
you can put all your faith in the basket. Like if you buy a basket on day one, that can be like your quote unquote win condition for like 6 days. If you buy a rice on day one, you can commit. Like she has these items where if you just follow the rules and you really shubber that item with love, that item will
Yeah.
carry you. Okay, and this is really important to know. Like you can buy those items and you can commit to them. This is like a really important thing to know. So commit to a really good solid early game item. I would say rice is currently very strong. Apron is amazing. And then I would also highly like, I think skillet is, if you can get burn on skillet, that's also a really good tempo item. And then finally, I would give a shout out to what's it called? The okay, I'm blanking. It's another one of those like region based items. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about?
Which
Like in the early
one?
game?
If you can give any
Jambalaya?
more specifics.
Medium, small.
Hold
What's
on.
the
Okay, I'm blanking on the name, but in any case, there are like these just generically
Yeah.
useful early game build around items that you just play for. And then my strategy has often been like starting about day 6, like when large items starts appearing, I can recommend like if you see like most of her large items, I would say are good to great. So
Mm-hmm.
my strategy has often been I see the first good large item and then I just buy it, and then like 9 times out of 10 we get 10 wins just because their large items are very good. Yeah, so that's been like my Jules play pattern. I would love to hear what you guys have like how do you play Jules, like for instance, if
For
Leo wants to go first or
starters,
Metal.
I completely agree with all of the things that you've said. I would just also like to add on to that I'm a bit of an advocate that I think the weapon start can feed into that pattern as well. And let me elaborate, because I'm not talking about playing weapons as a long-term strategy. But one of the big benefits with weapons on Jules is, as Sixten mentioned, her hardest thing to solve early can oftentimes be to have a consistent source of damage, while she can get a lot of health and defenses from a variety of sources. But in weapons, you actually have 3 separate, really powerful scalers. You have the cleaver, you have the fork, and you have the knife set. And this means that because they're typically what scales your damage, and the rest of her weapons, this is actually a big part of why they fall off so hard. But most of her other weapons have terrible upgrades. Like it's oftentimes just 10 damage or something, and when you're a scaling weapon comp, that's so irrelevant. Like the one exception to that is like chopsticks gain cooldown, they're very good to upgrade. But this actually means that counterintuitively, her weapon board early is extremely economy friendly. Because if you just go to 1 or 2 Islas to get the main stuff that you need, after that, you can very easily just put your free upgrades onto the knife set, the cleaver, or the fork, and then ignore buying anything else weapon related. Don't go to more Islas. You can take Strong Brew, so the temp damage boost from Jules Cafe, but don't invest more into your weapons. That's all you need to usually win 4 or 5 days of the first 5 or 6. And then on day 5, day 6, when those largest Sixtens talked about starts appearing, because you've been ignoring trying to go for upgrades and instead picking up support pieces to keep in your bag and focusing on having a good economy, it's very easy to just sell all of your weapon stuff and full pivot. And even if you might lose 1 day on the full pivot, if you have a perfect streak or max 1 loss going at that point, tanking that 1 extra loss still oftentimes, I found at least, netted me with more total wins than if I'd lost, just 1 or 2 more days in the early game. This isn't something that I would try to force. Like, I don't skip a mittel where I can find the rice, I can find the microwave. But if my first or second node is Isla, I've been having a lot of success with just being like, oh, I'm just gonna pick up the weapons package. It'll get me 5 wins.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And what you described actually is really similar to the way you played Molten Ball Blaster last season on Stel, and they're very similar. Like the Knife Set and MBB are similar in a way. It's like Knife Set is like a MBB mixed with Shark Claws in a way, and
or almost
and,
like old Carpet Mac when that was much like less of
yeah, I mean, it literally says
scalar
when you
build.
use a tool, charge this. It has the same.
Yeah.
It has kind of the same text in a way. Like it's very similar, and like this idea, and also like, by the way, Jules also has the tool level up reward.
Yes,
so you can
yeah.
get mega paid for having, just like on Stel, you can get mega paid for being in this weapon line because they're all tools. They're 100% tools. So you can just get the level up reward that's like 20 gold in the bag, like just ship it. So yeah, you can have you can be really rich coming into the days where the gold larges start appearing. The other line, and I guess I'll kind of discuss because I'm the gingerbread house, Andy.
Same though. It's great.
you just like, so, like, a lot of my games are just like, I think Apron's OP. I think Gingerbread House is OP. I think the underrated part about Gingerbread House is that it's also just like a money printer for no reason. Like it's just
Yes.
it's just like, not only is it the best, not only is it like the I mean, she only has 2 silver larges, so not only is it the much better of the 2 silver larges as an in-play item, it also is just like 2 income.
You can
And so
cheese so hard with Relax too.
Yeah, yep. It's insane with
dude,
Relax.
that's the thing with we
Yeah.
haven't even discussed. So most of my wins are either gingerbread, grill, or what's it called, durian. And
Yeah.
both gingerbread house and durian are just remind me of old Dooley. Like back when I played Force Field Dooley,
Yes.
I forgot that relax is just a win the game button. Like just
Yeah.
on other heroes, relax is like, now you increase your odds of winning. No. Here's just like you win. Like
Yeah.
you literally just win the day, and that's insanely powerful. Like just I have had runs with durian where I just get like back-to-back relax. I have like a bad durian board. Like objectively, I don't have crit solved. Like it's a bad durian board, and I just beat these insane Mac boards because my ass is just like relaxing all the time. So that's like another benefit of gingerbread
I do
house
have
and
bad
durian.
news. They renamed it to Rest for some
Oh,
reason, and
crazy.
we can't.
That's
It's
mine.
like, it's just like, I have it in my head like, oh, relax, like, oh, he's
I don't even
relaxed,
read
like,
the
that's...
name on it anymore, so I didn't
I
even
know.
know.
Me neither. But
Who
I
reads?
just
read
learned that Scout
Who reads the
Trooper is now
cards?
called the Hoverbike Hooligan. Like I finally learned
No,
that name after like
we've
6
told
months.
you this like 7 times.
I know, but
think.
it's taken me 6 months to learn
yeah,
his new
yeah,
name,
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
now I have to learn rest as well. Like
Yeah, no,
Jesus Christ,
this is you need to stay up to date in case you ever end up on like Bazaar Jeopardy again. You're toast.
I know.
What? A
So,
small
Leo.
2-second ammo weapon? It's called Uzi, bro. What?
What is the new name? SMG, right? Yeah. There it is.
the Uzi
A
incident.
travesty.
Oh.
So Leo, I was gonna ask like, what's your, because you've been playing Jules as well. Like, what are your favorite Jules? Like, not the best. Like, I'm not asking you like what you think is the best lines, but like, what do you enjoy to play on Jules essentially? So
Before
far?
you answer that, I think you can keep some of the free stuff in the back pocket. We'll talk more about that after the weekly topic, but if you just sidestep that cleverly, what else have you been up to?
Okay. Freeze most 90%. But other than that, I've been playing. I mean, I have been doing. Grill is for sure reliable. I was actually meaning to ask. I have never clicked on Swan, and I just don't get the item. And also it comes back to the fact that on level 9 I click on the chilled more so than I do heated. And with something like grill, right? I'm like the heated spots will be nice. Well, it's probably not for grill. It's probably for, as you said, oven. And giving any item multicast is insane. At some point, I had the opportunity to play like a great sword with heated, and I think that it was a missed opportunity. But maybe next time. Anyways, yeah, I was like, so for chilled, we have Swan, which is an item with no tag. It's neither a tool nor a food item, while um the scorch pepper, is that what the item's called? I actually don't know. It's
Yeah,
the item that
scorch
gives the
pepper.
Yeah.
thing. That thing is a small item. It's a food, and it gives it. It's a one-sided, right? And it's exactly the side you want on like your grill. I feel like in that sense, right? So if you don't if your heated spot isn't in a favorable position for your grill
Yeah,
in
but
the sense that it's not
you can't
right.
pepper the grill because pepper only heats food.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. No, but like the grill wants like the other. It doesn't have to be heated, no.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, what are you saying? Like pepper?
No, so
Like I don't
like
understand. What do you mean?
the grill wants both items next to it to be heated, and
Yes.
it
Yeah.
Yeah.
itself heats left, which means that
Yes.
you can not use the scorch pepper on the same item as the grill because they're pointing in the same direction. But you can always use the scorch pepper on the
Oh
other
yeah. Okay,
side where the
I
grill
understand what you're
can't
saying.
point.
I thought
Yes.
you were
Yeah.
saying like you put the scorch pepper on the like what? I was like, all right,
No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
no,
you're
no,
no.
good. You're
no.
good. You're good.
Hmm.
It was just like it was
You
just
just
that
confused me in the
idea.
way you described it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So it's just that like that idea to me, it's like it like the scorch pepper feels a lot more flexible than the swan.
Oh yeah, I
Like
agree.
just
Scorch pepper is broken. Like I agree. I think Swan, like if you ever played Diamond Swan, like don't sleep on the active on that item. Like that is a lot of freezing.
Yeah,
Like
I think that the main
the
thing is
active.
that it freezes like 3 targets, right?
I think wait at
No, it's
diamond
4 items. Yeah, so
it's
Swan
four.
Swan
Yeah.
freezes 2, 3, 4 items, which is
Yes.
like the main thing where it can be quite broken in terms of how many triggers it's capable of just like raw
Yes.
generating.
It is. I think Swan will like we're in some future. I don't know when. Swan is gonna be 3 at Diamond. Like it's not gonna be dispatched maybe, but at some point you just can't have a like four freeze targets on a medium. It's just
Or maybe
6
it
second
needs to
cooldown.
be like 8
And
seconds or
that's true that it's just
something.
like a
Yeah.
really fast cooldown for this amount of freeze. Like
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
definitely
don't like
true.
on a
guys.
character that has so much access to haste
She has like
specifically.
look at the item called Freezer. Whenever you freeze, deal like 100 or 200 damage. Like you
Yeah.
can very
Which
easily
we'll talk
convert.
about that later. We'll talk about Freezer
Sure, I'm just saying.
later.
So I just want to say,
The
like, my
secret, the
prediction,
secret.
if like 2 months from now, we're gonna be about, oh, which items were slept on, like which items on Jules went under the radar. I'm predicting it right now. There is gonna be like an Ice One apocalypse, like a month from now. Like
No, I don't.
maybe not, like not
I
this
don't
week, not
think
next
it'll
week.
take a month. I think it'll take a
No.
Okay,
week.
okay. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
this item is
agreed.
busted. Like,
Yeah,
look at the
yeah, yeah,
upgrades. Like,
yeah.
just look at the upgrades. Okay,
That is
that's all.
nuts. But that's why
Yeah,
I
I
want to
mean,
have a whole segment on it later. And to
Sure, sure.
get
I feel
us
like so
there,
many of her cards. She's so upgrade hungry. It's actually
yeah.
like
Yes,
it's coming from
for sure.
Stell, where all of your diamonds, all your items are diamond every single game.
Mm.
She feels like I need upgrades every single. It's
But
like I
I
have to
think
shop.
one really cool thing that ties into one of my favorite things about her actually is the fact that it means that so many of her items, because realistically you won't have everything at the same rarity. A lot of items that would never be clickable if you had the best item at diamond can become better than the best item at gold if it itself is diamond. For
Yeah,
example, meat tenderizer as a random diamond pickup because like you had Isla and 2 terrible options. That thing can go crazy. It's 15% CDR per swing at a 4 second cooldown on both sides.
yeah. I feel like you have to
mm,
have that at the right moment in the run with the right board. Like There's
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do need like things to make it needs to make sense for what you're doing because you are also like adjacency hungry in a lot of builds,
Yeah.
such that
No,
you can't
I'll
just be
show
like,
that
I
off.
found this and
My personal featured board actually has meat tenderizer on it,
yeah, like
so
I'm
you'll get to see
definitely
that
curious because
later.
obviously like look, all of the setups have not been found. There's definitely more to do for sure. Like we're only we're 3 days into the
And especially
release
that
or whatever. Like
it wasn't a setup that I would ever have hedged. Like, I didn't pick up a gold meat tenderizer and be like, hey, this will be perfect. I found it at Diamond. There was a slot on my board that said meat tenderizer on it, and I just rammed it in there.
I also want to
So,
add,
yeah, I like that part.
so
Yeah?
people who have been watching my stream know that I'm like #1 Lighthouse hater on Vanessa. Like I
Right?
always play like I love slow Vanessa. Like I love that build. Like Lighthouse, large gold starting, 4/6 base burn. It's terrible value compared to Dark Water Anglerfish and Mantis Shrimp. So I always complain that I want to play Lighthouse, but without Toxic Enchant, without Toxic Flame, it sucks. Turns
Mm.
out if you make Lighthouse silver starting and shrink it to medium size, it's pretty good. So I've also had a lot of wins with Emu, which is a medium-sized silver starting Lighthouse
That's
on a
a
hero that
shocking
has
concept.
excellent vintage, which is a dock lines with multicast that shields, which also turns out when you take a good to great item like dock lines and you give it shield and you give it multicast, that's a good item. So yes, it turns out that a
Mhm.
medium-sized lighthouse is pretty good.
No, I think that
But
okay,
sounds like a pretty
oh,
hot take, actually. I'm not sure
I
about
think
that.
Jules will be happy to trade excellent vintage for inexorable from like I
honestly, I'm not sure. Okay, Walter, I'm just want to say, like, I feel like on Jules, you want, like, this is what me Stalin said. I think on Jules, static acceleration is
Mm.
arguably more useful than exorable. Like,
okay,
because of
sure,
this
but
one
she already
item.
has that one. We don't need that one from you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm just
we
saying,
did
like,
both,
inexorable is
know?
obviously very
It's a
We did
strong.
trade. Well, I'm
both.
not trading for things I already got.
I would,
Oh.
I would say, give her Bloodhound. Like, give Jules Bloodhound. That would be
Hey, what?
quite
Let's
something.
let's calm down. Let's calm down. Yeah.
Yeah. That I would.
Let's
Yeah,
not do
I
that.
think
Oh.
she deserves a
Let's
Bloodhound for sure.
Anyways, I think
no.
we derailed
Yeah,
just a
let's move
little
on.
bit, but later we'll talk about free stuff, and the reason for that is because I think that's kind of some of the most broken stuff you can do in the late game. But in the meantime, I wanted to first talk about. We've mentioned some of our recommendations for new Jules players, which were all focused around early game and tempo and value. And I think a pretty easy question to want to ask is, if it's such a combo centric meta where there are all of these crazy things going on, why do you seem so hung up on playing for tempo instead of then playing for trying to assemble these combos? And I think that's a thing that's oftentimes overlooked. We saw it a lot in some previous Mac metas, for example. But when combos are really powerful, it makes the late game less predictable, which means that if you have to hit the absolute best version of the combo to make like a comeback from death's door and winning 6 in a row without getting shut down by another combo board, it makes you really badly want to not be in that position to begin with. And the best way to not end up in that position is to make sure that you've had the tempo to get those early wins. So, kind of wanted to lead off with you, Leo. How have you been thinking about, especially in this kind of settling experimental meta? How do you tend to view tempo in the early game?
Tempo is for sure crazy powerful. I think a big aspect to I think Jules gameplay and specifically a burn line like skillet is to pick skill. Just pick skill. Don't gamble
Mm-hmm.
for like high value small enchanted item and just take the burn, get the first few wins. Or I'm guessing it's the same uh theory, right? Same idea if you're going for the weapons line for any character,
I
really.
will say weapons on jewels, I've noticed, can get better effect out of items for two reasons. One, a decent number of her small bronzes are weapons to begin with, and
That's true.
because they are, and her weapon board is fundamentally scaling, if you get like any enchant on any weapon tends to be really good. But the other thing is that even without skills, you can usually just win 5 days anyways. And I had some times where I saw like a heavy butter or something that I knew I could use later on. And I actually have in my featured board my heavy butter from day one on a weapon build, made it all the way to my endgame board on day 13. But if I find something like Skillet, for example, I absolutely click that skill in a heartbeat.
That's very. I
Yeah.
think. Wow.
Yeah, I think
I
I would
haven't
go
played.
item on everything except burn.
This
Because
so if I can go ahead, Walter. Sorry, for
is
interrupting.
one issue is that like I like on the is like first of all, apron has just such high base values that
Mm-hmm.
literally one food from enchanted item is worth the same as
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
worth the same as like the shield skill. So it's like it doesn't the skills don't compare that favorably to. I mean, I guess you can get like critical protector or something like that that is actually strong on the shield line, but um in general, like when you have these when you have like these apron starts or whatever, I think you
yeah,
want to get every food you possibly can as quick as possible, because the whole point, and this is something that I learned from playing Silk so much, is that I consider like the apron line to be extremely Silk like, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's you have like these two, you have like these two synced items, and you just need to make them go at the same time, and then you like can one shot people throughout the whole mid game. You just got to solve crit, and she's way better at solving crit than Pig was, so it's actually easier in a sense. And also Durian is just a way stronger item than Spiky Shield. So for those two reasons,
Who knew?
shocking.
Minus CDR. Great.
No,
for
but
those
Walter,
Thinking.
Walter, my chat keeps telling me actually that's not true because durian has to be heated or chilled to be
Oh yes,
you know,
true. They're
it's
so
actually a
yeah,
big
difficult.
restriction there.
that's so
It's
tough.
super difficult, you
You
know,
have
like it's
to
so hard
place
to,
it in a different spot.
yeah,
No.
you know, like it's
That's too
that's
hard to
worth
figure out. Yeah.
5 second cooldown for sure. Like that's a big restriction. I
So
agree.
like for sure my like Silk instincts definitely like jumped in with how to play the Durian builds, and like for me it's really like you need to be aggressive, like you need to get out
Yeah,
in
yeah,
front of having a huge shield right away. So
Yeah,
like the faster you can be like in like one shot territory or two shot territory, the better, and then you
yeah,
ride that, and you ride the tempo of the game like that through your through like the power of the fact that it's not like your economy is your board. Like you don't really have to improve the items on your board. So all of your economy goes into making your numbers big. And then you can just pivot to like gingerbread whenever, like at some point you just like, well, I'm buying foods anyway from Apron. I'm holding on to the good ones, and then at some point you find gingerbread, and then you can like do any number of things. If you're doing like a basket thing, you can do that with gingerbread. If you're obviously like you've been holding your saffron because you have a brain, and so you can go right into like gingerbread, saffron, use as many, bantu
yeah,
leaves, use as many foods as possible, makeshift plate, like that whole thing. Or you can just be, try to ride like the like I'm a one shotter, especially if you get like temple ticket, so you get like the obsidian durian, like I mean you're gonna see like I had some insane durian enchants that can really just make it like, yup, it's just like dually force field, like you
yeah.
get the defense grid, you can still just do that, like you can still just go for like I'm a 6 second one shotter.
So to
And
try and explain how strong apron is, I play a ton of Vanessa, and I love aquatics. I adore aquatics. It's like my favorite. Like in the history of the Bazaar, aquatic Vanessa is by far my favorite. Like just not even build, just whatever you want to call it. Like theme archetype, it rules. And I love coral armor. Coral armor is like apron for aquatics, and I love buying it. I think it's super duper strong. But Vanessa doesn't have a force field. She doesn't have a
Yeah.
Durian. She has no way to actually convert the shield into damage at all. I still love Coral Armor. Like even without a force field payoff, I think it's strong. Apron,
Yeah, and also
meanwhile,
Jules has
has
a way higher percentage of her items are
Yeah,
food
yeah,
than
yeah.
Vanessa's are
yes, and
aquatic, by the way,
also
too.
not only that, it's also technically like I think it's on average. I would have to do the math because ambergris exists. Like it's a bit more complicated because of ambergris, but I think in theory, food is cheaper than aquatics.
I
Like
mean,
just
it's
in
not
theory, I
really
think that is true.
complicated either, because you have
Um,
both chocolate coin and market, so Jules also has more ways to make it
That's true,
cheaper
yeah.
as
I was just gonna
well.
say, like gumballs, like there is no aquatic gumball clicking
Yeah,
node in
yeah,
the game,
yeah.
right? Like just gumballs alone tips me in the favor of saying, yeah,
Mhm.
Apron is easier to stack than a coral armor, which means that it's a stronger coral armor on a hero with a force field, and
Yeah,
that's like,
yeah.
yeah, that's insane. Like if Vanessa had force field, she would be broken. Like she would be like we know that. Like there have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
metas where we literally went for the force field from the Aetherite and played that from Vanessa. Like we just
Mhm.
rock that shit. Like it's a
I
thing.
mean,
So
yeah, it's like if you get chocolate coin early, it literally is just like
yeah,
50%. It's just deadly enchant on Durian. Like or I mean not necessarily on
right,
Durian, it's deadly enchant on anything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
exactly.
it's just
One
so
more
strong,
thing
like
for
yeah.
the enchanted item, because when they reworked the skills to before, I was like, okay, I'm never clicking enchanted item Vanessa ever again. I'm just gonna play skills. I get 2 gold. After like 3 games, I went back to enchanted item because one underrated aspect of enchanted item is that on any hero where Andy is a good shop, you can think of enchanted item as also just being like you see Andy and you don't reroll. Like that's really really
Yeah, like
strong on day
that
one.
was the thing with like the weapon line especially too, is that
Hmm.
Andy has a lot of both the utility pieces you want to hedge for later and the upgrades to the carry pieces for the weapon build. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
or like oh, I didn't find my fork yet. I
yeah.
just get fork from
No, a
the
lot of the
enchanted. Like
time I've
that's
just
exactly.
great
pressed
too,
like
right?
I've just gotten like
Also,
turbo fork or cleaver and it just makes it silver with a slight upside and I'm like, damn, that's good.
Yeah,
one more
that's
thing.
really insane when you actually get it as an upgrade. But even if you just need the item, that's great
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
A strength or a right-handed will never win. Like it's very like it's those are like the best skills to high roll
They're
on a weapon sport. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but they don't win you. Like just because you like the biggest high roll of a skill does not compare to high rolling one of the broken ass enchanted
Yeah.
items. Like you get fiery noodles, that's 10 wins in the bag. You get like there are like
It's
at least 10 of
especially
these
like
items.
strength is really good still, but that's one
Sure,
skill because right or left-handed on Jules doesn't really work
yeah,
because
they're
her
not great.
weapons aren't that fast but have tons of scaling.
I will
And
also say that strength is good on Jules, like especially on day one
yeah,
and two.
yeah.
But her, like she, as you said earlier, like her weapons are like like they are cleaver and knives that are like scaling weapons, which makes it like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it makes strength less. Like strength is really good on like
Yeah,
a Amu Vanessa Katana board, right? We just want to burst them down.
yeah, yeah.
But I find that strength isn't as amazing on like these slower scaling, high
Yeah.
cooldown boards. Like it doesn't feel as amazing
It's
for me on
still
Jules. So
good, usually better
yes,
than an item just because you'll have a full board of weapons
for
so
sure,
easily, but it's definitely like not worth gambling for. But
agreed.
I will have to give a massive shout out because I'm notoriously a hater of the old enchanted item. I really didn't like the way that that system worked. But even though all they did is defer it by just a few nodes, I love the way it works now just because the way we're talking about it makes it really obvious it's a vastly more complex and nuanced decision point now rather than just saying I'm going this or that for like either because I value consistency more or because I'm trying to gamble for power. Now you have just a few days to figure out, well, do I have a burn item that I really want to roll for a skill on? Or do I have that weapon board where I'm looking for upgrades or scaling enchants or whatever? Like, there's so much more that goes into the decision, even though it isn't that much later. And I've
Yes.
been
I
finding
think
it
that's not
really fun.
just the Jules thing, right? Like just
No,
3 hours of the
Mm.
game has
I
already
was gonna.
like branched off the decision tree so
Yeah.
much for any hero that like every time you see those 3 items, it's not like because it's like you can have like a preferred shot for node 1, and like that's kind of what the enchanted item the old way was. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're starting from absolute zero,
Yeah.
oh yeah, of course I just take the best one,
Yeah.
right? And then that's kind
Yeah.
of a simple decision. But as soon as you add 3 hours of the playing the game in front of it, the decision is just not simple anymore at all. And
What have you been thinking about it, Leo? Are you a fan of the new enchanted item skill selection?
For the recent update, yes. So the fact that the skills are 4 in selection and you get a free reroll, like you get the free
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
gold, right? It
Mm.
gives a lot of
It definitely
leeway.
needed that.
Yes, because it was for sure brutal. Last patch, you had like no A. You spent your entire uh your entire economy trying to roll down and find specific items, and then also need the skill, but also can't really
yeah,
roll.
the low roll of clicking skill, re-rolling it, and then still bricking was so insanely high
Yeah.
that yeah, I'm glad they got rid of that.
So I was gonna
But
say. Okay, go ahead, Leo. Sorry for interrupting.
I was kind of I'm very surprised to hear like the what my experience, but I mean it could change now just due to how Jules like works, right? But the increase of damage, the damage floor when picking up like the weapon skill of like strength and left or right handed should still be noticeable enough, and also might be it could be like the game changing factor, right, within those first 2 days, as we are talking about like a tempo centric play
I
that
mean, I
does
do agree
then.
that strength is almost certainly higher win rate day one than any enchanted item for the weapons board, probably. Um, Unless there's something that like that's maybe there's like some kind of shiny that I'm not thinking of that's like super insane.
Shiny
But
fork or something.
yeah, maybe that's like
Just
higher win rate than strength. But
one narrow, yeah.
but you're probably but it's like it's not just but like when we're just talking about tempo, it's not just like day one you're trying to win. Like we're also trying to win days 3, 4, 5. Like, and then it's like strength is already like once your knife set is silver, I think strength is already like it's kind of whatever.
And I think the big thing especially is that strength, yes, but normally on weapon builds you kind of want to be rolling for, oh, I get strength right-handed or left-handed, so I have 3 hits in a selection of 8. But if you compare a single upgrade on, say, fork, which I've definitely ran into, to a right or left-handed, that one upgrade is already going to eclipse the damage of right or left-handed, unless you happen to find like silver chopsticks or something.
Yeah, your
Just
forecast once
because,
at 4 seconds and that's already like
yeah,
35 damage to your
yeah,
board or
Yeah.
yeah.
something. Yeah.
So can I
So I
just
think that's the
gush
big
about enchanted
thing.
item start, because I love it so much. Like the reason I started like
Yeah.
aquatic Vanessa, enchanted item start is like so key there, because what happens is, and I sit on stream, I think the hardest, like the highest skill floor, skill ceiling day by far on Vanessa right now is day one. Like it is insane how much
Mm-hmm.
micro and macro decision making there is. So I play like a ton of Vanessa, to the point where my day ones look radically different from like most other Vanessa players. I guess Google is like me and Google play quite similarly, but like I will like this is like my day one. I go to Isla. I don't buy any weapon except Mantis Shrimp. Then I go to like Akina. My only purchase is like a Yeti Crab. Then I buy like a lighter. So I have like 3 desperate, like completely, like I have a burn item, I have a slow item, I have a poison payoff, right? Like I just have these complete weird looking items. They have no synergy. And it all hinges on enchanted item. Like I'm literally hedging enchanted
Mm.
item. So I'm hedging slow, I'm hedging toxic, I'm hedging fiery, and it just works. Like it just on Vanessa, because she has so many, like Vanessa has like every trigger, right? Like she has poison, she has burn, she has heavy, like you know what I mean? which means that almost every enchant, and then she also has Onimask, so even deadly is like relevant. It's very rare if you're playing Aquatic Vanessa that you brick on your enchanted item, because worst case scenario, you get like a Swarsid. So you like, yeah, you bricked on the enchant, but you get the important piece. And this to me is so fun. Like it allows everyday one to be like a fresh experience, if that makes sense. Like I never know what enchanted item I'm gonna get. It's gonna pull me into a crazy ass, like you know what I mean, like toxic yeti crab or icy cat. Like you never know what's gonna happen. And then from that, I can have like a win condition. Like if I get the fiery catfish, okay, that's a 10 win in the bag if I just commit to it. You know what I mean? Or I get fiery Swarsid. And this wasn't the like before enchanted item. Vanessa was this. You buy red weapons, you click skill, you pray for strength or right handed. That was like the Vanessa gameplay. Like it was just click the skill, get the red stuff, play weapons, play ammo. Like it was really, really like it was very predictable. I think Leo knows about this as well. Like we had that weapons
Yeah.
meta a few parts ago, where it was like everyday one was just weapons, and it.
Yeah.
I think it's way more interesting when you have this. Like you don't know how your day one is gonna look necessarily, and I
Yeah.
really like that about enchanted item. I know that a lot of other top players still complain that it needs to you're getting high rolled on day one. Like for me, I don't care about getting high rolled on day one. I think the variance it brings is like I'm curious what you guys have to say, but I think
I just think
ultimately
it's
enchanted item is a
so
force for good.
different when it
Ultimately,
feels like a way more deliberate and informed decision rather than this person clearly just tried to gamble for an obsidian catfish on turn
yeah,
zero, you know?
I mean, I do think
exactly,
that like the making obsidian shiny and icy rarer was good.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I will
I
say that
agree.
I think that part of it is because one thing that they compared to when we had the old enchanted item, the day one now is very much more medium focused, and that the biggest day one
Yeah.
high rolls are actually when you have like a big chunk of burn, like the pyro silver cinder on like a multicasting medium burn item, or like you have like a 180 apron because you got it node one. Like those are actually the day one high rolls, even more
Yes.
so I think than enchanted item.
They also increase our base health. So this is a big thing. Like back in the day, we had like no health on day one, which means that if you get like a
Yeah, yeah.
small item that just deals a bunch of damage, you just get one shot.
And
Nowadays, on
obsidian,
day one,
so much of
you
the
sort of
problem
need
was
scaling as well, right? Like the
obsidian.
strongest day one boards are no longer just like a
Yeah, they're
grenade. Like
scaling
that
or
used to be the
stacking
case.
burn or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just an
exactly.
astro big shield. Those are like the main things that
And
were
like
So
focused on day
and
one.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
no, I was
so
just gonna say
enchanted
the
items aren't like.
most
Go
complained
ahead.
about stuff was always just like Sixten. I've heard you go off like 7 times at obsidian grenade, and that's just not gonna
Yes,
be what it is
yes,
anymore.
exactly. I'm so like that's I am so happy that Obsidian is what like that is. It's not like it's the most boring enchant as well. Like when you see
Yeah.
Obsidian, it's just like oh, that's like it's just broken. It's not like when I see like
Mm-hmm.
Toxic on a cool item, I'm like oh, that's super cool. Toxic Flame, let's go. When I see Obsidian on a grenade, it's just like okay, well I guess I just win the early game, but like it
Mm.
doesn't spark excitement. Anyway, this was a bit of a sorry about off
Yeah. No,
tangent
I,
here. I
I will
just want to gush
also
about this
throw in this is
quickly.
completely back to the topic of item start on weapon boards. Two things that I will mention that I think are super relevant is one, weapons already give you such good offensive scaling that if you find a region item with a good enchant, that can be super powerful because you just slot like one region thing on your board. And you have a lot of weapons like the herb shears and the pizza roller, stuff like that. You can get cookies from the cookie cutter, which is a weapon, and you care about food usage for your meat mallet. So there are a lot of things that let you easily bake in one or two foods while still having a mostly weapon board. And then the other thing that I think might be easily overlooked is that butter works on adjacency with both foods and tools, and all of the weapons are tools, which means that any enchant on butter is super free to slot in on a weapon board, and then especially if you do that thing where you pair it with herb shears to make it faster. So you have the meat skewer on one side, then the herb shears, and then the butter, and then just any other tool weapon. And now you basically have a 5-second 3-cast haste butter on the early days. There are a lot of like nifty things like that you can do. And then if the butter is like slow also, like heavy butter, it gets crazy so quickly.
I mean, heavy butter is a disgusting item.
Yeah.
Like,
I think doesn't it just in general have kind of crazy enchants?
it's hard for a multicast 3 small to not have crazy enchants in a certain like they
Yeah.
have to be crazy, right? Like there's no
And
way
like
they're not.
the deadly gives crit to not just food items but tools. The shielded or healing is still 20 base. It's gonna be a lot on those early days. So
It really does it
surprising
all.
number of it really does it all. Just butter your weapons, like that's the new tech, you know.
Oh, one thing, if you do fight if you get overheal haste, then you always got to go enchanted item for the restorative.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Or like
And
restorative coffee or whatever, like those
yeah,
are
and
really
also
good.
just if you get coffee in general for any weapon board, putting coffee on your chopsticks is almost always better than running an additional weapon in that slot, but even more so when you add in like the herb shears or something. So there's
That's
a
a good tip
lot
on
of ways to
yeah, that's good.
incorporate those support pieces that you're picking up as late game hedges into the weapon board as well. And I think a big reason why people perceive it as more one-dimensional than it is because the very obvious thing to do is just go like full red. And especially if you think of it as kind of like Weapon Vanessa, but in this case, a lot of the foods care about tools, and a lot of the tools, so the weapons, actually have synergy with foods.
Do you buy cutting board if you're in like if you see it on like day 2 or 3 or something like that?
Let's see.
I have never done that. Like I
I
am a
played it for
weapons
a while.
hater.
I found it to be pretty nice.
I agree with Metal that
Can
if I
say
can just
it.
never upgrade my weapons and just play knife set until I can pivot out, that's good. But
Yeah.
when you see a cutting board for 8 gold, no way in hell I'm gonna spend my hard-earned 8 gold to dig even further into weapons. Like, no, I
But
want to get out of that shit.
you're
Like,
so
it's...
rich on this lot. Like I get
Yeah,
what
I
you're
think
saying.
I think
okay.
I
that's
get what you're
If I
saying,
get
that's
the
the
but
level up
big
option,
thing.
sure. Fair enough. Okay, if I have like a million
Yeah.
gold, then sure I can do it. But I don't like I don't want to commit to this line because I know after day 6 without a dishwasher, it's
Yeah. No, for
dubious.
sure, for sure.
I agree with you, but I think that like yeah, you definitely do not want to overcommit, but that also doesn't mean that you also don't want to like fall behind
Yeah.
and lose a close fight that you otherwise could have won because you're scared of wasting 4 gold.
I think
Like
Sure,
the
sure.
big
It
thing
just
is
depends on the context, yeah.
I feel like on the other boards, like the food boards, which again, to reiterate, I'm very happy to go for the food boards early rather than weapons if that happens to be what I find. But on those boards, you have to spend way more gold to win, which you're okay with doing because your items translate better than they would otherwise. However, on the weapon board, you need to spend less gold to win comparatively, which means that hedging another 4 gold deeper or so, not that big of a deal when you don't need to upgrade like 60% of your board above bronze.
and it's also like there's always the context of like did you get that 20 gold level up reward, because that can be such a like
Mhm.
that can be such like a you can I had one game where I was just so absurdly rich, like on day 5, like I had like 40 gold or something on day 5 or something. Like you could just be in situations because of coin and like all the free, like you get some kind of drop that's really expensive or whatever. Like you win Bex Ball, or like you can just be in situations where you have like very high amounts of money early in the game, and it's good to save obviously, but also like this is like that is the time, like the fights will never get easier than the one that's coming at the end of today, right? Like that's the easiest fight that you have left to fight in the whole game. So paying some gold to shore up that win, I think is like that is an
Sure.
example of what we're talking about, right? Like, and because that is like to bring it back to the topic, right? Is one of the kinds of things about a combo meta, a meta where late game there's a lot of powerful stuff. Those they're coming at you from many different angles, right? Some people are trying to space laser you in 4 seconds. Some people are trying to perma freeze you. Some people have 50,000 HP. Some people are going to put up a 20,000 shield in 5 seconds. So like there's no like one build that's like the magical answer to all of that. So like that's all the reason why those early wins are that much more valuable. And because like on Jules or really on any hero, you're going to end up at some point in the game you are going to commit to a build, and that build will have some weaknesses or counters. So that's something to keep in mind is like 4 gold spent now judiciously, or like if you're not sure on the fence, like, do I get silver chocolates here? Do I just want bronze? Like, maybe go for the silver. That I've been really, always click rest. It doesn't really. It's not the same as always click
Yeah.
relax. Always clicks relax sounds so nice, doesn't always click relax? Like
Yeah,
always
Yeah,
I
relax.
don't.
Like I'm a relaxed guy.
Who
Like
complained that it was called the relax? Like I just don't see why it had to be changed. But that's
yeah,
another
that
topic.
is maybe that's one of the most baffling, most
Yeah.
baffling changes. Like what was wrong with relax? Okay.
ASAP. That's top of the list.
So Walter,
right
just
up
to
there.
answer your rhetorical question, I would say if I find myself in a situation where I'm actively considering buying a cutting board, something is already gone wrong in that run. Like that's just my like based on
No,
my
I
last
don't.
like
I don't think
10.
that's true of all. It's like
Okay,
imagine
maybe
you're
not.
you're on the weapons
Yeah.
line, right? You have like the knife set, but like let's say maybe you don't have like all of the premium 4-second weapons, and instead I can cut 2 crappy weapons from my board and replace them with the cutting board, and have roughly like a slightly stronger output for a 4 gold investment. Plus, I can sell these crap weapons that I was playing in those spots before.
Sure.
I
Like
think
it can be an improvement on your
the
board in the
main
early
I agree
game.
with that.
Yeah, the main point is like that I think it's very easy to think that the weapon board is way more overcommittal than it's felt in practice. Because
Yeah.
it's not that we disagree with you and think that you should overcommit or commit even harder to weapons. It's that when we've tested it out, it feels like you can actually do it without being locked in at all, and you still have a very easy time pivoting on day 5, day 6.
Yeah, I will have to try it more, but I just find that it's so rare that I brick on day one. Like I usually have a rice or a skillet or like I usually have like a food-based win condition or a basket that just works, and then I don't feel the urge to like
I think
commit.
the
Like okay,
times
I
I've gotten into weapons, it's come from when I node 1, I pick a non-shop because it's like curio or whatever,
Yeah.
and then node 2, it's Isla,
It's when
and then
one
sure
of
that's
the
fair. Yeah, there
first.
are definitely
It's
cases.
literally node 1 or node 2 is Isla, I go weapons. If it isn't, then I'm probably not
Right.
going weapons.
So I'm just curious,
Do you-
what if we just wait? Like okay, what if you instead like I'm just spitballing here. You go to Isla, you buy like just maybe one weapon, and then you assume that you get like Kina or Mittel all like on the last 2 nodes, and then you can just
Well, because
assume that
Isla
they
gives
give
you
something.
if she shows you the knife set, then she's likely to show you almost the whole build.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. If I
So
assume,
I
okay,
think
yeah,
that
that's
that's
fair.
the
That's
the
fair.
comfortable thing is that the nice thing about clicking Isla if we saw her in the first 2 nodes is that it makes
Mhm.
it really easy to then just say, oh well, now I already have my board set. I get to do things like press gold nodes for the rest of the day so that
Yeah,
I
that makes
have
sense
them for
actually.
the subsequent
I'm gonna try
days.
this, but I'm still on the fence. Like I still just feel
Yeah, no,
like
like it's definitely like you have to see it within the first 2 nodes because if my first node is Mittel, there's no way I'm not pressing that.
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
I was about to ask, do you guys click on JJ hour one? I don't.
Would
Not
probably
you
depend
still
on the
Yeah.
just
other
connect me.
nodes.
I rather click jungle runes for free food.
Yeah.
I think.
I think her bronze pull is so small. It's like sort of like Stella, where the app like the average bronze jewels item is on average like okay, JJ for me boils down to, is the average bronze item good? If the answer is yes, I think JJ is a decent node, and I think on jewels, my experience has been that JJ is like I don't think he's great. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not S tier. There are like other nodes I would click over JJ, but I don't think JJ is bad. Like, that's my take. I
I
think
think the
JJ is
main thing is that
fine.
it's impossible for me to not have at least one shop that's better than JJ in terms of getting direction on day one. So it's
I mean, aren't there 4 gold? Okay,
dependent on.
aren't there still like 4 gold nodes on day one? Or did they remove all of those on Jules? Because I feel like 4 gold rolls are still worse than JJ on day one.
No, there's no more 4 gold.
Yeah,
No, there
yeah.
is.
Just
Is there
Curio.
one? There's
Yeah, it's just
there's
Curio, I think, on day one.
Can you not get food? Can you not get what the
Not on
food
day
vendor on day
one, I
one?
don't think.
Okay,
You
if that
get
is the case,
Gastro
then
day
yes,
one?
technically.
Maybe you can get Gastro day one. I'm
Well,
not
if you
sure.
There
can
should
though,
be-
Gastro on day one is fine. I think.
Because
Sure, I'm just saying,
I'm
like-
pretty sure all heroes have at least a
Okay.
specific one. Like
Yeah.
Vanessa has Nautica and such, right? So that means
Yeah, and Stell
Honorable
definitely
Thieves-
has Pin Feather day one.
Yeah.
Okay, well in that case, it's probably just Gastro, which also feels like a fine one to press.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when you have a very small and strong bronze pool, just seeing items in of itself, like, for me that is value. Like, it doesn't, like, just having as many items viewed as possible on day one, I value that a lot. Like, I value
So
having seen a lot of items. If
it's
that makes
mainly
sense.
like if I get JJ with bad nodes, I might press him because he might be fine compared to, say, like if I take JJ and then I get Andy with a 4 gold node, and I press the 4 gold, and then I get Mitto, I'm probably decently happy. But if I have JJ and then the node that gives me 4 gold, I'm probably pressing the 4 gold node unless it's the one before the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be like I'm taking 4 gold or medium food over JJ, and then if it's something worse than that, I'll take JJ. Maybe if it's node 1.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm still feeling it out, to be honest. Like we're
yeah.
I'm
That's also
we're
very
only a
true.
few days in. Like none of my opinions about her are so deeply held that I can't be
Mhm.
convinced otherwise. Like I'm for sure still learning a lot about the hero. I've had most experience playing the shield line, and so like you guys are talking about the what to do to have like really good late game free setups. Like I haven't had really good late game free setups.
Before we
Yeah.
move on to that, can I just mention one more line?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also printed a shielded weather glass for some reason, because the main weakness with weather glass on Vanessa is that you don't have defense. Like, you need a life preserver or you need like a coral armor, because then otherwise you get bursted. So it turns out if you replace the poison with the regen and shield, which I think that's a pretty good deal. Like, I'm happy to get rid of that poison for now. That's a good item. So I played some stew. I don't think stew is like a. It can be okay. I would say it's
I
like
think
a
stew is
10-0
good,
item.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a very. If you are winning the early game and you see stew, that can just go the distance. You don't need to overthink it. Just click that item. It's also a good transition piece because stew
Yeah.
is like, I don't know. Stew for me is like a very nice day 3 to 7. Like, that's the period where I'm not quite in the like late game or like the large item pool
Yeah.
yet, but I still want like a good build. I think stew is like the perfect. Just, I buy this. This will get me 3 wins. Then I sell it. Like, it's a very nice just transition piece.
It's
I think.
also one that I've had a lot of success with from weapons because of the, again, pizza cutter and herb shares. Because then you sell off the knife set and stuff to buy the stew and to have the enablers for the stew. But then the last filler slots, you can still very easily run your herb shears, your pizza cutter, whatever like enchanted item you had, or like the skewer can work with it as one of the enablers. So I think it has a lot of flexibility in that sense too, that you can easily hedge weapons in a way where you can go into one of the transitional food pieces.
Yeah, it's trivial to complete it because imagine if Vanessa had like 3 rainbow potions randomly with Weather Glass. Like,
right.
you just have like a this freezes and it like you have like 3 small items that like freeze and shield and regen and like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even need like 5 unique items. You just find your rainbow potion, which is like a strawberry or what have you, or a sorbet. That's all you're like half of the requirements on that thing. Just you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's trivial. Like it's actually insanely easy to get that up to a high multi, which is wild because when you first look at item, you're like, oh, so it's like super hard to make it 5x. No. It's
Yeah, it's
dude, it's
super
literally
easy.
it's hard. It's literally if you don't have it at 5x, that's like impressive in its own right because then you have just bricked on every small
Oh,
food item somehow.
I gotta
So
give a
yeah.
shout out actually to I don't know if any of you have played with Prep Station.
Oh,
Like,
the
I
thing
don't.
that scales.
So
The thing that
Prep
scales
Station
the
is
Oh yeah.
it's a 6-second
The scaler.
tool
everything.
which makes a
Yes.
food gain shield, burn, and
Yes.
regen
Yes.
and charge when you use other tools. So if you've ended up having the like meat mallet and you have like herb shears or pizza cutter or whatever, you have tools that can already support a transition into a stew board. If you have a fast charging prep station, it makes stew or pizza like completely insane because it's our best early game like scaler.
It is yeah, that's an insane item. It's just it's like it would I think this item might still see play if it was only burn and regen. The fact that it also scales the like
Yeah.
it's like a Ganjo on steroids. Like I don't know how to like it's just you
It's
take
like
like a great
it's
pig
a
item.
huge reason to why it's possible to transition out of the weapon build. I actually ended up doing that, and I think it was like my first run on the pre-release tournament. I did like Prep Station Pizza.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
All right.
flexibility in her lines. I love that part where it just feels
You can do
like
cake batter, regen, bread knife stuff too.
yeah,
also,
like you're
as-
never locked into playing weapons just because you started weapons. And I think people are just traumatized from that having been the case on like every previous hero ever. And so
Yeah.
they just trauma, you
I know
know.
that's right. I think I felt the same way. I think now hearing it from you guys, I should be trying out weapons more, but I
Yeah.
do feel like it is only that hour one, hour two
Yeah.
sort of option.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the question I have is, have you played
Well,
with
Leo,
the
can I just
recent hot
relating? Sorry,
fix?
not to like. I just want to say one thing about what you just said compared to Vanessa. Jules's scaling is like all on her weapons is like all in combat. So you're never committed to the like particular weapons on your board any more than you're committed to
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
other like a
Mhm.
non-weapon item. So it's not I mean like yeah, there's stuff like whatever like I guess you could do like artisan dunes like five like there's stuff like that, but that's really like minor value to lose compared to like the power of getting all these like free wins in the early game with the weapons line, and then like you
Mm.
just it's actually like it's very counterintuitive that the weapons line, which doesn't really feature the econ items at all, actually has really good econ because
Yeah.
of the tool level up option and yeah.
I think
But
that's the big thing, just how cheap the board is relative to its power. It's like the supreme budget board in the game, I'd almost go as far as to say.
Leo,
yeah,
what was
whereas
your
like the
question?
board is like
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't get
maximally
lost.
thirsty. Yeah.
Leo, what were you gonna ask?
I I just wanted to ask if you guys had played with the most recent hotfix with the tune down weapons. That was like my follow up question in a sense. Like, do you think
The
it
new
would
fork, you
feel?
mean?
Did it? Yeah, like, and is it just like one weapon? I actually don't
I
know.
think it was just
I don't.
Well,
I
they
think
nerfed
it
they
was a
nerfed
slight
dishwasher too.
nerf onto the fork and then a second onto the knife, I think, but it
Yes.
wasn't like anything that
Oh shit! Wait, I
severe.
missed the knife. What happened? Knife set, you mean, or which
Let's
knife
Knife
specifically?
set
see.
got
Knife
buffed,
Yeah,
set
knife
got
set.
1 second to go up to
Oh,
8, and
okay,
and
that's
then
fork lost
interesting.
1 point of scaling
fork
per
lost
level.
1 point of scaling.
Okay, I don't think the
Um,
fork is that like that's obviously. But I think the bonkening knife set is actually like that is like it is a nerf for sure. Like that's gonna
I
like it's
think
there's
so.
gonna be fights where that matters
Yeah, the big
for
thing,
sure.
the big reason why I don't think it's that big of a deal is I think it's way worse if you were trying to like stick to it, whereas if you're willing to just pivot out of it, like on the really early days, it doesn't matter that much because the thing that matters is that you have hyper reliable scaling and no other class or even other Jules build has as consistently reliable access to that scaling on like day 2, day 3 especially. And then by the time it would really hold you back, like if you're trying to do dishwasher stuff or whatever, we're not really trying to do that. We've already bailed.
Yeah, I also want to
Yeah, I
add
would say don't bother with dishwasher now. That would be what I would say.
2 items not to sleep on are oven and dishwasher, because we start with oven. On, for instance, Vanessa, I buy Shipwreck just to give my anchor multi. Like I couldn't, like I literally, you can just buy Shipwreck to give like 1 carry item multicast. Now, that is like a diamond starting item, I think. Whereas the oven is like, I think, gold starting, unless maybe it's diamond. I could be wrong.
It's diamond starting.
Okay, so, okay, never mind that. Okay, then it's basically like a Shipwreck. I'm just like want to point out, like, even if you don't have like a heat-based comp, you should still just buy the oven, because giving multicast to an item of your choice or 2 items is really powerful. The second point is that dishwasher, even on a non-weapon board or just like a 1 weapon board like Durian, it's literally like just giving obsidian enchant to an item of your choice. Like, or you know what I mean? Like, it's both of those items are really good to just buy because they effectively double your DPS, whether through multicast or through double damage. It's such on like the words like double and multicast are so powerful that you should just look at them not as, oh, I'm not in a weapon speed, I can't buy the dishwasher, I'm playing Durian. No. You play that you buy that dishwasher, you play that on Durian, and it's like great. So I just wanted to like give a tip as well, that those 2 items are very good even if you don't currently have like an amazing build for them.
Yeah.
If you can afford to hedge or just buy them, you should. I think. I think that is correct. I'm curious what you guys have as like.
I feel
If you
like the
push back a bit on
nerf
that.
really hurts dishwasher. Like, okay, I would agree. I totally agree with you on oven. 100% oven is insane. Dishwasher, since the hotfix, is so much worse. Like when
So what's the
you
difference now?
so they took a full second off of.
It starts at 6 seconds.
Yeah, but just look at the bottom text. Your heated weapon still double damage. So you just put your Durian on the heated slot. Like you don't have to
I
wait for the
think-
dishwasher.
That only works if your Durian is if your heated slot
Yeah,
is directly
it's like
next to
the
your
issue, right, is
Sure.
that you're trying to make your Durian faster than 6 seconds to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you can do that with you can do that for sure, like with coffee or with like there are ways to make that happen. Like I don't see the issue here. You
No,
also
so
have
the
scorch pepper
problem then, right, is that it's much harder to make both the Durian and the dishwasher be sufficiently fast. But I would believe that I'm sure it has
I'm
spots,
not saying you like
honestly.
can't play. I'm not saying you like can't play with Durian. I'm saying that
Yeah.
like I'm saying that like this card was extremely good, and now it's a lot worse. Like going from 3 seconds of heated to only 2 seconds of heated at gold is a huge nerf.
Okay.
Like
I
because
literally just
it's
played for the
essentially a
bottom part.
50%
Like
nerf.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because on Durian, like if they slow you or interact with you, like you just can't guarantee that all of your things are going to line up. Where like yes, if you have exactly the cooled and chilled next to the heated, and you can guarantee it has double damage all the time, then sure, go for it. But if your plan is to make yourself a shield and cast the dishwasher and cast the Durian and have them not like screw that up, I think that's hard. And I think that
Sure.
like
I
sorry,
would
I mean,
agree
go
with
ahead.
you if scorch. Okay, I think scorch pepper. I don't know if like I just always like no matter what I'm playing, I always buy scorch pepper. Like even if
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure, for
have an
sure.
immediate future
But then
for
I
it.
have to play Scorch Pepper on my board. Like all these are
Okay, fair.
slots that are like
Yeah,
costing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
now it's 4 slots now to
I'm
make
sure
my
there are
Durian have double damage.
theoretical boards you can make for it, like you hedge it for depending on if you have relax or not, or like you play it when you have a high level defense grid, or like
Yeah.
it's just they've definitely made it more situational than it was before.
That's fair. That's fair. I literally have like I've had at least 2 boards where I literally just played it for the passive. Like I didn't play it for the haste. So
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
played
yeah.
it with the nerfed version, if that makes
Like
sense, and it
3
still works.
slots
But I
to
agree that
give
it's
a
nerfed.
thing obsidian can definitely be situationally worth it.
Yeah. It's just
yeah.
the reason I was like, because it's like I played so much Durian, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really value those slots to get the shield
Sure,
too.
but just like to use force field as an example, on Dooley, I like you love to see like bunker. I know, of course, multicast is stronger than double damage, like on a shield item. That's true, but still, if a bunker just said your force field deals double damage, I would play the shit out of that. And on force field, you have like even fewer board
Yeah,
spaces
I
available in
think
a
that
sense.
that
So
does make sense.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
like double
sorry for
damage
the
is
off
obviously
tangent here. I
good.
just want to say like don't sleep on dishwashers passive.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
extremely good.
That is
That's
fair. That
all.
is fair. Well, with all that said, I think I wanted to move on to the second part of the yapping. This will be a little bit shorter, so we still have time for a couple of featured boards I have lined up. But I'm really, really big on the free stuff with jewels. I think, as we kind of hinted at earlier, that's gonna be what she's known for, maybe even notorious for. I can see some ruffled feathers in the near future, as people don't tend to be super thrilled when those builds are prevalent and popular, perhaps. But I know that we have at least one other major freeze fan in the call here with me. So, Leo, why don't you start off by just going on a bit of a tangent? Tell us all about Freeze on Jewels.
I I think it's a very insane, very powerful item. It matches well. Also, the character has access to two large like free synergy items. One
Mm.
being freezer, the other being pantry. I think that's what it's called. And
Pantry is the one that charges your other items. It's the truck or something, right?
it's
Uh,
the food truck charges on haste, so we don't know the
Pastry
names.
cart.
ah,
Pastry
Pastry
cart.
cart,
pastry
sorry.
cart. Yes, 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 yes.
I got mixed with okay. So yeah, it is pastry cart. And I think my preferred way of playing this freeze, I've seen that there are the corkscrew variation where you put a freeze item, sorry, a multicast item, i.e., pizza, next to like your freezer and such. But my way of getting into the line is getting static acceleration. I think static acceleration is a must pick for
Yeah, yeah.
uh, the basically the
For the
looping
Zarlik.
aspect of like for Zarlik and Poke. I mean, you could technically go into other boards as well because uh, Jules has access to both Tracer Fire, which can activate Grill. You can play the slow gain crit, which goes into like the
Slow
what's
targets,
his
yeah.
But she
yeah,
also
which
With
gets
goes into
slow
bubble
targets
gun.
with bubblegum floor and
Yes,
Zarlik is like a loop.
exactly.
yeah,
It's
and
it's
and
it's
with
all
to the summit, that's another hit for
Yeah,
yeah.
freeze
Reach the
reaching the
jewels.
summit as
summit.
well.
Yep.
Reach the summit, then like already instantly gets you into the freeze board,
Yeah,
and also like null frost being an item as well that you can go for in the
yeah,
temple, with itself being an item that self scales the freezer without the need of shatter, right, is
yeah.
very powerful. Also
Like,
makes it's like the sacrifice of like losing the ability to freeze but also not get frozen is I think a big aspect of a freeze board. I think I've seen the freeze boards lose to exactly iceberg, right, because you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
continue firing in that sense. But yeah, I mean we can also get iceberg, which is also a neutral item a
yeah,
day like a neutral boss, like a day 10 fight. So it just seems like there's a lot of ways you can get into freeze very comfortably. There's a day 2, there's day 3 fight that gives you snowstorm, right? And
yeah,
it's yeah, to me it's just like the pool's very small. Day 6, you can most likely click on. The only time I ever click on Ayla is on day 6 to try and fight exactly Freezer, and then I never click Ayla again. But I probably should try clicking
yeah.
on Ayla like again, that hour 1 too. But for sure, it's yeah, the loops, the charging, like if you like any form of burst, it's so
Have
disruptive. There's
you tried
the
it at all
blender.
with Cooler?
Yes, I have. But not Not by much. I
Okay,
feel
okay.
like the most comfortable, like the general builds I've ran into, like in the mid game where I just buy uh, a freezer, is prior to the freezer buy, I buy a blender, right?
Right,
And
right.
that hastes my entire board, right? If we don't want to play oven anymore, or not oven, sorry, we don't want to play microwave. We have like positioning
Mm-hmm.
issues. We have like the chilled spots and heated might not be meshing well. So like blender not having to be needed to be like the chilled upside is very strong, but I treat it as an item that just says haste your items. When you freeze, haste your items,
Mm.
and then you put stuff like ice cube uh, around somewhere, and it just like starts hasting your board. And it's also a tool which activates noodle, which is a 2 second item you want to put on next to freezer, and that just kind of gets the engine going before you get into like a pokey or a Zarlik loop with whatever skill you find. Right? It's really crazy as well. Like even if you are picking Tracer Fire or the slow gain crit, you could just enchant your freezer day 10 with either one of those things if it's offered to you, or even head into the temple with those effects, and so you could still loop regardless. I think a big factor of like Jules gameplay moving forward will be hitting, if unchanged, will be hitting the skills that gain crit when an effect is triggered.
Yeah. I think also just like it's so worth noting that like pastry card as an item is crazy for not one reason, but two reasons, arguably three. But it's the fact that it gives items chilled.
Chilled.
It makes you chill on any chill or freeze on any chilled item used, not just adjacent. So it's
Mhm.
non-adjacent like freeze on all of your stuff. And it goes up to two targets at diamond. So basically,
Yes.
when you use it, turns your entire board into blue bugs, which is like I don't think we should print that. Maybe that's taking it too far. Maybe it could do some of that, but maybe it shouldn't do all of that. And then to top it off, it's a good eco item and even gives you sorbets that like can technically go on the board if you have enough crit solved. So it's very like it's a kind of terrifying item.
I think that's also a reason why you click on like the chilled spot, right, at level 9.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then you have, if like, I think that is like the highest cap board for that freeze line
yeah,
in that sense, outside of like null frost shenanigans, in which case null
yeah,
frost being
yeah,
an item
yeah, yeah.
from the temple. But yeah, the that cart, and then having the like, so one spot is chilled specifically for the sole purpose of your freezer, right? You need that freezer output. Then you'd want the extra chilled spot, hopefully just right next to exactly where your freezer placement would be, that would also be able to be uh generate basically a third chilled slot, right? So you'd
Yeah.
have three chilled spots. All three of them will also be interacting with exactly uh the freezer and and the adjacency. I mean, like, I think one of the high roll I hit, right? I do have like the clip on the in the post that I did. It's exactly that positioning where I had holsters instant start, static acceleration, ice cube into both Zarlik and
Yeah, I'll bring it up,
uh
show it on screen actually for any video listeners, just as a like kind of visual, yeah, show
I
don't
like,
tell,
because
I guess.
it's it is exactly how, like, when I looked at it and I'm like, wow, wait, this is it. I
Yeah, like
I
this
don't think
is
I don't.
just the
This is
board.
this is this is the board. This is perfect.
As you can see, especially like holsters is definitely the cherry on top, but
Yes.
you could very easily just have that be something else that's fast, and it's just perma-freeze. But it's perma-freeze when you have freeze proboscis to top it off.
Yeah.
So, question: how important is like shatter to this kind of like when you play the freezer comp?
If you
How
have
important
like
is skills?
that board, shatter doesn't matter at all because
Yes.
it's
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah,
perma-freeze.
that's like the peak here. Like that's not your average. Like finding both the largest and having them like high. Just like I'm just curious, like how do you get into freezer if you don't have a scaling skill, right?
So
Like that's
the
my
big
question.
thing is that Freezer has a number. So Sixten, you know what the number is on Lightning Rod, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
So Freezer says 100 at gold, 200 at diamond.
That thing is so massive. It's just it shouldn't
Like,
be that. I think it could be
when your
lightning rod
Freeze
numbers.
Proboscis has a base damage of 200, that's all you need, man.
Yeah,
I mean, to be
exactly.
fair, it's way easier on stealth to generate a bunch of slow procs than it is to generate freeze procs. So I
No,
get
so
like
that's
I
kind of the
understand the
crazy
comparison, but
thing,
it's like
right? Like, I wouldn't even genuinely say that that's necessarily the case. That's how easy freeze
Mm.
procs are for Jules.
I mean, there is no weather machine or flashbang like freeze equivalent, but I like agree
Well,
that you can
so
regenerate
like we
freeze, but it's like
mentioned,
I think like
you
I don't
can
know.
make it so that any given slot generates 2 freezes no matter what item you put there. And if the item there is a diamond slushy, every 4 seconds, that alone will generate
Wait,
it's
is that 2,
8
4,
freeze procs
8?
every 4 seconds with one item every 4
With the
seconds
cart, you mean
before
if you have the
haste.
cart as well, or
Yeah,
how do you
Yes.
if
get
you
the 8?
have cart
Yeah, sure.
freezer slushy, then that
Sure.
alone is 8 freeze procs per activation.
Yeah. No. I totally understand. If I have both the largest, I will have enough damage. I'm just curious, like freezer without scaling skills on its own. I'm just not sure that 100 like I don't know.
Well, so the
Without
biggest thing
scaling,
is
it's
that
hard.
like you're dealing this damage by freezing, which is already like the most
Sure.
powerful form of disruption in the game, bar like killing someone. So
Yeah.
Bar
yeah,
Now,
destroy, I think.
like
Bar
and
my
you
question
destroy,
is
I
also
think.
just
have like flash freeze is beyond ridiculous as a skill in addition to
yeah.
that. I've also seen variations that don't even play freezer. If you just play cooler instead, and you have like a restorative enchant on any slushy or sorbet or something, you can get it to shield you for like 6-7 digits pretty trivially.
Fair enough.
I mean, like, yeah, the only thing you lose to is like a radiant board, right? Like a pig, like a really big pig with like one radiant line came, then you're kind of cooked. But I mean, yeah, beyond
Or
that,
like
I feel pretty
depending,
comfortable.
You just lose the rod.
technically you can get like one
You could
shot
lose
by
the rod.
things that are really fast if you don't find something like the holsters or a way to make the cheeky start time fast enough. It's definitely possible if something can get through in just one rotation, one activation, and it's at like 2 or 3 seconds at the latest. I would say that like the average board can definitely get beaten by a high roll from another hero if it's one of the like really quick starting one shots.
Yeah, but even
Yeah.
like I said, even the permafreeze has like rod is a counter. Big
Yeah,
pig
yeah.
could be a counter with radiant cane
I mean,
or
again, my
whatever.
question was not
Like
about the permafreeze. Like, obviously, if you have permafreeze, I couldn't care less about scaling. I'm just saying, like, before you have this Exodia, you just have you see freezer in the shop. You don't have shatter yet. Like, can you just play? Like, can you already just play the
I think
freezer
if
and
it's
Yeah,
early
Exodia?
enough, then
definitely.
100 is
Yes,
a good enough
yes,
number. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's my
yes.
only
100,
question.
100 flat is a big enough number for like
Okay,
day 6, 7, 8 for sure.
all
If
Mhm.
right.
you have
Day
enough, if you have enough freezes, it's got to be.
day 6, 7, good enough freeze, 100 damage will do it. And if you start
Okay.
feeling worried, just upgrade it, and then you're set to like
Yeah.
teleport
Okay,
to
sure.
10. But
Okay.
but beyond that, you definitely want to start like thinking about looping. I think another big question for Jules is like this comparing well, in comparison to other heroes, it seems that she does enjoy uh clicking on skill vendors that are not intrinsic. Like I think a lot of
Yes.
other heroes like to click gold skill. Like it's just gold
Yeah,
skill
yeah.
and gold skill all the time.
Or their
While
own skills. Like I looked at
yeah,
so I
exactly.
clicked dual skills foolishly and I got 6 unplayable garbage. Like it was like back to the same thing
Yeah.
basically. Like just oh okay, I'm never clicking that again. Like just the most garbage. Like when you buy a food get like it's day 9 or something. I get when you buy a food get 20 health. Your food it's just like the
I mean, it
most
depends what you need. Like the Nona's has start time, which is like
Yeah, the
which
haste
is
and
like the
charge is very
main.
good
yeah,
Yeah,
she
though.
has
yeah,
like
yeah.
the when you use
She
a
Yeah.
has
food
start
haste an
time
item.
skills.
Sure,
There's a
sure.
couple different ones,
I
and
think
so
definitely
both
Yeah,
can
like
be
fair
useful.
enough.
Nona is not the worst vendor on jewels. Like you'll pick her a non-zero amount of time quite consistently. It's mainly
Sure.
that, as Leo was kind of making the point, Zara is like must click basically.
Yeah, Zara's
But
insane.
a lot of
Zara's
the
too. Yeah.
time, even like the ones you'd normally not press, like the crit vendor, like Vamir, can be a lot better on jewels than on
Yeah,
most because
for
any
sure.
of the board wide crit
It's just
scalers
relative.
make
Like I
Zara
would say
good.
that her unique hero skills are like on par for me, like maybe Mac. Okay, to be fair, Mac got new insane skills like
Oh
old
well,
Mac
yeah,
and like
Mac
Pig.
Mac was really good at the start too because you just always get hardly working, and that was really good.
That was,
I mean,
yeah.
you can get that from
Okay,
the others
we
like
don't need to get
haste
into the
and
max skills.
fair
How
enough.
screwed up the max skills were. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
that's a
point is
different
just that
discussion.
going from like Vanessa or Stell, who have like every like just your unique skills are cracked, and then
yeah, yeah.
going to
Yes,
this was like a whiplash experience for me. Like, which is oh, skills can
same.
be bad actually.
Totally agree. It's
It's
definitely way more
You want to
like
click Fortis for makeshift plate when you're in that line. That is
yeah,
Yes,
also a very important thing to do
I
because
think it more often than not, I've found it hard to brick on Nuna, but at the same time, you don't have any crazy high rolls. Whereas Jules has a lot of vendors where an average roll is fine and the high rolls will just win you the game. Like
yes, that's my
even
point.
even frontal shielding or rear plating, if you have a saffron board, is just like, well, I win, I guess. Plus
yeah,
20 is everything
Yeah,
you
I
need
the
to
foolishly
break
had
the
to
makeshift
game.
plate
argue
and the crit scaling skills are for sure like
Yeah.
run winners by
in
themselves.
Rarish chat. There was like people. I was like, oh, Saffron is broken, and Rarish agrees. And there was like no someone in chat who was like, actually, Saffron isn't that good because the base shield is low. And I'm like, dude, it's like you have
Yeah,
a
just
trillion
like
ways to buff that shield. It's like the most
and
trivial
you'd
thing ever.
only
Like
need it to be like if it's 30, that's already
yes,
like nuts. And I've definitely gotten it to like 150, but the main point is like you don't need it to be a lot to be really broken.
Yeah, and by the way,
Yeah,
you can click like scrap node on day 6, and it
yeah,
gives you a gold scrap that makes your saffron like insane. By
yeah.
the way, like
And
you
like you
don't
can
even
go
need.
gumballs and like you do that
Yeah, no, it's
twice,
like
like
it's
you get it
already insane.
incidentally often. Yeah, like you.
it's like saying, oh, Matchbox is bad because it has low base burn, or
Yeah.
like Katana doesn't have. Like it's just like the items are just
Katana
they
is
are just
bad. Holy.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
Oh,
mean, it has low base damage to be fair. So like
oh.
like to be fair. Anyway,
But yeah, I
I
definitely think
think
like it's that's kind of I think that ties the sack together nicely as it's about time for us to start wrapping up. But the main point about Jules as a character is that the things you need to do to make her good are definitely nowhere near as apparent or intuitive as some things we've seen on previous new character releases, unless you're a very experienced player. So hopefully this is like a good kind of starting point to ease people into it at least a little bit. um, she's so much fun. Like I'm loving this character. I'm probably just gonna sit down and play tomorrow. I've been itching for the first time in a while. I've been like seriously itching to just
Well, let's
press
see some
another
Jules
run, you know.
boards.
Yeah, that is exactly what we'll do, and we will start off with another one from Leo. I just need to see which one is the actual one. This is the one you did right before we recorded this podcast, but it was quite the run. Speaking of freeze things in the late game.
think as like as a player, as primarily a Vanessa player, I didn't really quite understand gingerbread until Walter showed me in the run before this one how to play exactly, or in like Silk-esque in for that matter as well. Like I didn't know exactly how to min max apron until he just says you have to go to zero in a sense and like try to be very efficient in your buy sell uh, uh, order. Uh, and then after that, teaching me exactly that, oh, makeshift plate is a skill. And as a Vanessa player, I've never seen that thing. So I didn't know about the interaction between what do you call it? Saffron, that skill, and gingerbread house. But and my eyes were opened and I found like an icy pizza, and well, the rest is history, really. And pantry's a cool item. I don't know. Charging the entire board permanently. I mean, let's just keep printing atmospheric sampler for everybody. Like you get an atmospheric sampler.
It's
You get
fine.
an
I mean, look,
atmospheric
it's the nature of the late game, right? Is charging. There's no way around it. So everyone's got to have some.
And
Vanessa cries.
I
in
definitely
charge.
think if there's one major takeaway to have, remember that on a character that has as much acceleration as Jules does, and this is a common pitfall on Dooley in the past as well, acceleration ends up having diminishing returns. Because at some point, you're only making sure that you have 10-15% more triggers. You're not doubling or tripling the number anymore. And when you only have those marginal increases, the fact that good disruption can have or slow to a crawl whatever engine your opponent is playing, or even better, whatever one shot they're trying to insta kill you with before you get to do your scaling stuff. That's kind of going to have exponential gains instead. So it's like you have two lines on a diagram, and you hit a point where the value of disruption will drastically overtake the value of acceleration. And identifying that point is going to be the difference between runs where you lose 3 fights and end at 8 wins, or where you confidently close out at the 10 win. Yeah, no,
Right.
really,
We
really
have more
sick
Jules
board.
boards.
I think it's so good. Then we got Sixten. We got your board as well that you
Oh,
can tell
okay.
us
This one
about.
will take some explanation. So this is the
Yes.
board I used. Okay, this is the board that I got rank 1 with. The rank system is bugged, so you have to like exit to main menu and go back for the rank to refresh. But whatever. This was such a sweaty run. So I played like an early treb line, and then I like lost a bunch of days, and I got to ticket. So I found a ticket and I got to temple. I bricked on Blaze Howl, but I got this fiery, what is it called? Sky Spirit Ashes. I don't know if you can pull up the item itself on the screen as well. It's like a Mac large that says at the start of each fight, enchant 2 random non-enchanted items, and whenever you use an enchanted item, because it's fiery, it burns, right? So
Yeah,
it is
I'll bring it
like,
up here.
yeah, so it's a fiery version of this.
And the fire one, of course, is when you use an enchanted item burn as well.
Yes. So the problem was that it was really hard for me to scale this, right? Like it's like a, so every time I use my trebuchet or my sword seed or my shot glasses, I trigger the burn, which charges sword seed, which then in turn charges treb. So I have like a loop there, but I couldn't for the life of me find scaling until I on like day 14 stumbled upon toxic flame. With a problem, I had no poison items at all. So I found the scaler, but I had no poison. Then I find a diamond blowgun. But like a blowgun, like using a blowgun to scale your toxic flame is not like a great strategy. So we were on death's door, 9 wins, and what happened was I found a chaff, and chaff is like when you use when an adjacent item burns shield, and then the enchants are like cracked. Okay, so what I did was I built a board where the chaff was guaranteed to be enchanted, and then I just had to pray for toxic. All right, and on the final fight on day 14, we rolled like after like a few like failed attempts, we rolled toxic in the player fight, and it was the most beautiful board of all time. Like it was beautiful. So yeah, this was like a super memorable chaff, spirit ashes, trebuchet, blowgun board with juggler as well. We also found juggler, so the trebuchet was going nuclear mode.
So
So just a really
basically,
fun.
like the opposite of everything that we've told you to do during this podcast, but
Yes,
peak content.
It's fine. It's on
Peak
Vanessa.
content.
It's we told them what to do on Jules. This is Vanessa. You
Also,
can
I
do
just
whatever
want to
you
say
want.
this is what to be able like on Vanessa. This is what the late game looks like. If you want to compete with like the Jules bullshit, like you have to just have some kind of bullshit. Like you need a bit of
Yeah,
bullshit in the late game now for sure.
I
Anyway,
think it's
that was
true
just
for
why it was a
everyone.
fun build.
Like now, if you want to win
sure.
on day 14, you better have some nutty stuff. Because I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
some damn good boards from really good players just like lose, and that frightened
No,
me.
you
And
can
then I
like
went
after day
tempo
12,
time.
you never know what's gonna happen. Like I think day 12 is like the point of no
Yeah.
return.
It
For
truly is
sure.
the twilight hours,
Yeah.
as Goose would say.
Get ready to get permafrozen, buddy.
But you don't even know by who. That's the true joy. Oh, and then finally, this is my own board that I've been kind of hinting towards. I've already shown this
What
to
the hell? What about
Sixten.
mine? You skipped
Oh,
my double Durian?
which one did you have? Which
Mine's in general.
and oh yes, it's in general. That's why I didn't say it. We'll do that last time. I
Alright,
forgot
okay.
about it because it wasn't
No,
with
it's
the
okay.
other
I'm
ones.
only a little bit hurt.
Yeah. Wait. God, your videos are always such a pain. I have to download them. Oh no, they can see all my behind the scenes process here. I download clips that I have to download beforehand.
Oh.
But yes, this is my board. We got one
Like
each this time. That doesn't always happen. That just goes to show how damn good the cooks have been this season, to be honest. But
and
this is,
Vanessa.
I
And
think,
Vanessa.
yeah, this is my, I think, maybe second game this season or something. Um, I haven't even, like, full disclaimer, I haven't actually used Bazaar DB outside of this podcast this whole season. I just booted up the game, mostly because the blind tournament that Tempo hosted that I participated in was so damn fun that it made me realize, honestly, I don't even need to know what the items are. I'm just gonna boot up the game and I'm gonna read them as we go. It's kind of made me
You
feel like
say it
I'm
was fun, but as someone who watched your stream, those 20 and 40 minutes runs were like they. I mean, that was an experience for sure. Like,
It was chaos, but no, I had a
yeah.
blast. Thanks again to Tempo for hosting that one. It was so fun.
So
But
what's the skill down? Like, if you can you explain the board just like I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
understand how it works?
So the main thing that's going on here is that Bubblegum Floor lets you just slow on any item juice, or any food item use. So the board only really is like Bubblegum Floor with and this is the thing again, where as soon as you find items of diamond, they become like really ridiculous. So I just found peppers at diamond and replaced whatever I had there previously. That's a heavy butter. So every time it goes off, it'll be 6 slow procs thanks to the floor. The pepper makes sure that it's going off constantly. And then you have the tenderizer. Every time it swings, it reduces the cooldown of both the floor and the butter by 15%. So after it had gotten its 3 swings, because again, like I'm shielding for like a solid 10,000 and I'm healing for 15,000 in quite a short amount of time too. But it got to swing 3 times thanks to all the haste as well. And that meant that the bubblegum floor was going off, I think, every like 4 seconds, and the butter every 3 before accounting for haste and pepper. And I had the like charge a shield skill thing, and I had when you use food slow, when you use tools, charge food. I had a bit of rust in there. You can assemble such a ridiculous variety of just things that aren't quite okay. Salt lets you take any win condition in the game and just be like, hey, you got 100% crit now. And one thing that's easy to overlook with Bubblegum Floor is that the max health it gives comes in full rather than empty, which means that it's more like it also heals you for 100 every time you slow, but it's healing that can freely overheal, which means that it doesn't get wasted behind your shield. So because it gives max health and shielding, it makes you really obnoxious to burst. And because I have such a massive health pool, like by the end of that fight, even though it was a short fight, I think I had like 11,000 or something. It means that every time the femur swings, if I've actually taken damage, then it gets to heal all of that back as well. So it was kind of just just ridiculous, but it was very fun. Yeah. Femur on Jules turns out to be good. Shocking to anyone who hears it, I'm sure. Oh, and then now the real final one. Last time I was just checking to see if
Mine's
Walter was
very
still
short and
paying
simple.
attention, you know?
Mine
Wait,
is
no
so-
nature board this time? We don't have any mails?
No, it's because
I'm
it's
joking,
probably
I'm
because
joking.
we've like it's been such a while that people haven't really
I
submitted
could pull
for
up a nature
the
board
current
if you.
No, let's
patch.
okay. Let's save it for the next episode. Okay.
Yeah,
We save it for
nature.
the next episode.
We know you're hopefully listening to this at least, if we haven't lost you already. But submit more boards. We love your boards. They're great.
Yeah.
But yes, we have like kind of the opposite to what everyone else has been showing for Walter. I don't know. Have you seen this, Sixten?
I saw Crypt. This is like the board Crypt played in the tournament.
Oh yeah, no.
but
So look
even
at
more
this
evil.
one. It's
No,
very
it's like
it's very funny.
every busted Jules item is like on the board right
Oh,
now. Like, this is just
oh,
everything.
I've got a nature board for you. Okay.
Ooh, okay. No, perfect. We'll
Wait,
we'll
wait.
have
Oh,
a
and Diamond Defense
real
Grid and
final one
Foreboding
after
Winds. This is this water board is like illegal in so many ways. It's actually
Yeah, it's very
wow.
like yeah, I'm sure the opponent will get to exist. Oh wait.
Give me a second as I try and share it.
Very good. Okay, Leo,
yeah,
for
mine
the
requires very little explanation.
yeah,
It's just you put all the
Durian hits
it's just
people.
force field with Diamond Defense Grid. It's like the oldest classic in the book. It's like so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I always found like
definitely gets the job done.
I loved playing force field on Dooley. I
Ugh.
love these lines on Jules. They're so fun.
Okay,
He has 2 force
Leo,
fields, and
send
they're some of our
the
most OP
I'm
items.
forwarding it right now, and there's also a
perfect.
clip for.
This is the
I'm
real
so happy.
final one.
Try to understand what nature is trying to do before watching the clip. I think it's very funny.
Okay. So we gotta
I
do a
think that's
breakdown. What's going on here?
Try and like look at the board. It's a bit hard to read, but as soon as I mean,
Okay.
just like look at the board itself. That's just.
There's
Yeah,
clearly
he's
some.
infinitely charging the emu with this skill there, like the when you shield charge a burn item.
Yeah. Just well, let's see.
Then he has he has five. Wait, what is the enchant on the smoke detector?
That's a heavy.
Oh
Smoke
my
detector.
god, no, that's okay. That's
That's
and
heavy
now
detector.
we'll get
That's illegal.
to see it in
That's illegal.
action.
That is illegal. That is illegal. Okay, no, that is not okay. That is not okay.
This certainly is very infinite. That's a classic nature board, honestly. And the best part about the boards is that they always require like a PhD level breakdown analysis. Like one time, one of my favorite things that honestly ever happened on this podcast. We had a board submitted by Nature, and none of us could figure out what it did or how it won. We were so lost that I had to DM Nature live and be like, tell us, what did this board do? And then he sent a clip, and it was like the most insane stuff I think I've ever seen. There was some like double glider like flex stuff. God, what a board.
I
Yeah,
think
that's the
every
cook
time
for
you see
sure.
a magma core on a nature board, you have to assume that there will be war crimes committed.
Oh
Like
yes,
that
here.
is like the
This is the like shout out to the what the hell is this board doing
Yeah,
board?
the
yeah,
stealth
yeah.
glider.
Stealth glider. Classic.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no, the
The
so I knew how the fiery one worked, but I didn't understand why he ran the other one. And I think it was I don't remember the explanation, but we were like super confused why we ran two of them, right? Like that was the confusion.
I think it
Like
was just
why?
because he was gambling for a certain enchant or something, but didn't find it. So then, in actuality, it was
Yeah,
literally just, I'm only hoping that you have to die to 300 burn at combat start. That's the
yeah.
entire plan, nothing else.
a
Oh,
classic.
beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, I think that about does it. But before we send everyone off, of course, you can start off, Leo, with again, where can people find you?
Yeah, primarily on Twitch, twitch.tv/Leodriango. I think what I do want to give a shout out to though is an upcoming Tempo Macherino event that is tying with tournament. A, yeah, tournament event, and a lot of people will be playing there. I mean, including myself and Walter here.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
do like some maybe like on the once it starts, maybe we'll
Okay.
like do like on the podcast we can do like updates or whatever, like which teams are winning or
Oh yeah,
something. I
that
don't
is
know.
for sure.
No
But
no
like maybe
promises.
it's
Like
just
I'm just claiming that on the
yeah.
spot, but
But I think this
Goose
is
is
like
on our
it.
team. Like there's so many people who have been on the podcast who are on the teams that
Yes.
it feels like we should
Team A
talk
Bazaar
about it
podcast,
in
you
some
know?
dimensions. You know, it's like Classy's in it.
Yes.
Yeah, Cranberry. Like,
Asher will be there.
yeah. There's tons of people who have been on the podcast who are just in it. So like, I feel like it'd be a disservice to the community to at least not talk about it once it starts. At least we'll talk about it for sure
Well,
because it's
at
super
least
cool.
like I think for now it's just like shine light to it and like look forward or look once it is officially announced, just to be aware that it is there. It's yeah. So yeah,
Things
just
are
Twitch Leo
happening.
Drago, and things are definitely happening. And it'll be very fun to see a lot of competition between streamers and other countries as well. Actually, specifically like
Yeah, there's
Bilibili.
like Chinese teams. It's gonna
Yep.
be hype.
Yeah,
That's
there we
definitely
go. And Sixten, you've been kind of going crazy on the
Oh yeah, I've been
streaming.
grinding.
You hit rank
Yeah,
1 after what, like a 12-hour session before the
yeah, 12-hour
podcast?
stream. I was so what happened was there is this bug where if you don't exit the main menu and go back, your rank doesn't update. So I was like stuck on rank 2 for like I was like, God damn it, like who is ahead of me? Like I was like grinding, and then someone in chat told me like, dude, you have to restart and update. And then that anticlimactically was how I found out I was rank 1. So
That's very
anyway, long
funny.
story short, I got rank 1 for the first time. I've always been the rank 2
Rank
Andy,
2
like
king,
always
yeah.
a Rarish or a Snacer or a Pink Beaver. But this season, finally, just grinded Vanessa. And yeah, I've been streaming a ton since the patch dropped. I plan to stream almost every day. Usually, I mean, I have a stream schedule on my Twitch, but it's twitch.tv/2sixten. I also have a YouTube channel. I want to make a Vanessa early game guide. Like I promised my chat that for like 2 weeks. I just keep procrastinating. But I want to like
same.
when I see early game Vanessa boards, I cry. Like people need to like, but Vanessa, like we need to do better on Vanessa. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so some
We need to do.
Vanessa
I don't think
guides.
they need to do better. I
Yeah.
see
No,
early game
he,
Vanessa boards and I smile.
okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's the I cry when I see them. Like I
Yeah.
want to lose to another Vanessa. Like I want to queue into Vanessa and be like, oh shit, that's scary. But we'll see. Anyway, I'm playing a lot of Vanessa. I'm playing Jules. I made a commitment. I'm gonna try and learn Dooley again. Like people complain that I have a Dooley profile picture, so I feel like okay, I have to actually play at least one
Oh.
Dooley game every year. So we're gonna play a bit of Dooley maybe tomorrow or
One dually
the
game
after.
a year. You sure are
Yeah,
setting
just to
your
hold the right. No,
sights
no, you know how
high.
like when you have like a copyright for like a movie franchise, you have to make like one movie every decade to
You know, I
hold the
never
rights. That's what I
called
have
you
to
out
do.
on this, but you asked Tempo to make dinosaurs, and then you quit Dooley as soon as they released the dinosaurs.
That's
I'm just
very
saying.
true, actually. Facts.
Hold on. Oh yeah. No. Did I ask you to do that?
Yeah, no,
Yes,
you did. You did.
You said
The day
you asked on
before
the episode with Toby.
the
Yeah, you were like,
episode
let's make
before
some
it.
dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs.
Like
Okay.
in the Toby interview, we have you on record. There are tapes of you
Okay.
being like,
In
need more
hindsight, it was a
dinos.
mistake to ask for dinosaurs. Like I when I asked for dinosaur, I guess I wasn't taking into account the nightmare fuel that was the dinosaur expansion. But yeah,
Oh.
fair enough. I kind of
Sixten is like the #1 player who just doesn't know what he wants.
I mean, dinosaurs are cool on paper. It's just in practice they are,
Yeah, it's just funny how you always like end up like you've even been dabbling in pig lately, I've heard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that is another. I should have mentioned. Yeah, I also love
you
pig.
said you'd never play pig in your entire life.
Yeah.
That's something you said.
No,
And
in
now
the
you
wait,
played
okay.
more pig
I
than
said-
Dooley recently.
I said pig. So long as pig is an unethical hero, I won't play him. I think pig is ethical now. Like we have Caltrops at Diamond. We
That could be
Pig
just a
is the
change
winner.
of morals, man.
Yeah,
That could
it's
have
a
just-
I'm just saying
1000%
you
a
were
change of
playing
morals.
pig before the Caltrops to Diamond. Just saying.
That is also true, but I knew that. Okay, I played pig with the knowledge that
He had the insider info. The pig
Yeah,
was
I-
ethical
insider info.
because next patch Caltrops is Diamond,
Yeah.
so it's okay to buy him.
yeah, for sure.
Did
Anyway,
I do
yeah,
that?
it's kind of wild. I've actually played more pig in the last 6 months than I've played Dooley. That is actually a depressing.
Yeah, so it's not that
fact.
you know.
That's too funny, actually.
But it's a
Yeah,
character arc.
pig's
Like, you could have
ethical
guessed
because they're
this.
nerfing him next patch. Don't
Oh.
worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
true,
I will say, I'll
true.
just before we go, pig is fun. Like I just want to say, like we haven't had any pig discussion
Oh,
on this
no.
pod. But pig is more people should play.
We got
pig,
him to
for
say
sure.
it.
More
Yeah,
people should play pig.
Goosefather is totally not holding like.
Dude, you're
I've
never
never
gonna live
thought I heard-
that down.
Yeah.
Like that's your legacy now. More people should play
Yeah.
Pig 2025.
Yeah, that's going on your tombstone for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, I stand by it. I think
Make
pig is
it
more
if you're not a
ethical
coward,
than,
make it your
a lot of
next stream
heroes.
title.
More
Yeah, fair
people
enough. I
should
mean, I had a
play
pig. I had like a.
You could make it the episode title.
I think I actually have a stream title. It was
Oh.
like playing pig for fun to learn him. Like I have actually had fun and pig in this title at least one time
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I think I also
Oh.
think pig is fun. You just have to be in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, nice.
Do it.
True.
Oh, anyways,
Anywho, that's
Walter,
also me.
you're
What about
the Shadow
Walter, yeah.
King, backseating all of the best players secretly.
Yeah, you
you're
can-
just the
yeah,
puppet
you're good.
master. Where have you been spreading your nefarious business as of late?
Definitely Leo. I mean, I definitely watching Leo play Jules. That's been very fun. Like, also, who else have I been lurking around? You know, I always do Jota, Raresh. Like, there's some of my there's some of my mainstays just because of the time of day that they stream is like when I usually would be playing and therefore watching streams. So those have been my main three. 610, you stream like late night Europe time, which is like when I'm hanging out with my wife. So it's kind
Yeah.
of I kind of don't get to see yours as much, but sometimes we watch.
I mean, you're also not a Vanessa player, right? Like I don't know if you.
No, I actually. Well, yeah, but Leo's a Vanessa player. I watch. I watch him
Wally-
play
okay,
Vanessa.
True.
Wally,
Fair
you know, he
enough,
dabbles
fair enough.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I'll backseat any hero.
Okay.
He's ready to put his 2 cents in and be
Yeah,
like, yep,
exactly. Like it's your account.
You're
fighting.
wrong.
It's your MMR. Like
That's true.
What about you,
Yeah.
Metal?
Yeah,
Will you make a
finally,
guide for
I do
Jules?
stream on twitch.tv/MetallFenix, but due to time constraints, I make no promises as to how regularly. That's where I showcased my tournament appearance at the very least. And then I also have a YouTube channel by the same name, where my current aspirations, and again, this is definitely going to depend on how much time and energy I have in the near future. Working a 9 to 5 sure does a job on you, but I want to make a Jules guide, a Jules overview. I just don't quite yet have a visualization of what that would even look like, since she's almost too interconnected to easily be diagrammable, but I'm sure it'll come to me in a vision eventually, as they do. And I would still like to update, especially the Mac one. That's the one that's most out of date, but we'll have to see when and if. It's mostly something that I do for fun, just like this podcast, because it's always such a blast to talk to such wonderful people about such a great game. But with all that said, as per usual, you'll be able to find this episode and future episodes on YouTube, as well as Apple Podcast, Spotify, or via RSS feed for your podcast listening app of choice. We definitely intend to be back again, and I'm sure, as always, we'll find some great guests to bring on. So follow us on whatever platform you like if you want to make sure that you're notified when that happens. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for both participating in the podcast, my co host and guests, and for all the listeners for listening to the podcast. Wouldn't be doing this if no one cared. So until the next time, I hope you have a wonderful morning, day, evening, and night, and that perhaps we'll see you there.